Hello, everybody. Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, depending on what time it is for you where you are. Happy Sunday. That's the day it is today. And boy, we're off to a start. Good morning. Hello, 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 Dark Owl. Thank you for the 5-month resub. Hello from California. Did I sleep? Some. Yeah, I crashed really hard last night. My energy was at an 11 until maybe like 8 p.m. and then I hit a brick wall and went down. Oh, I need, maybe I will do the timer. Well, no, it's already a bit late, isn't it? It's 9:06. I started a little late. Let's do, so I want to do something, yeah. Hey, do I want to craft anything? It's not really crafting season. What do I want to do with my hands while I decompress here for a little bit? Why is the answer Nighthold? The answer is Nighthold. Let's just do more Gul'dan runs. Not technically Crash Bandicoot music, but it does sound a lot like it. It's true. Hello? Hello! How you guys doing? I'm doing good. I have bees in my brain that are very excited. I'm very excited. Trying to be cool. Trying to stay chill. Hi, Hazel and chat. So I should give some background because some stuff's happened very quickly. I should recap for anybody that was not here during like the latter third of the stream yesterday. I have been, for a long time, wanting to adopt a doggy. And more recently, I was starting to entertain the idea more seriously and do some research and make some plans. And I finally got to the stage where I was applying for shelter pups. And yesterday, on stream actually, as it happens, yesterday, the shelter called me and they said that the puppy I applied for can go home with me today. They said tomorrow because it was yesterday, but you understand. Can maybe go home with me today. I get to meet the puppy, and then if we all, I think, agree on everything, and assuming the puppy doesn't see me and I don't know, spontaneously combust and say no, thank you. Then so today that is why people are saying puppy days. Today is puppy day. I spent all day yesterday puppy proofing and setting up a puppy zone. I got up early this morning to go to one of the pet stores right when it opened to get some last minute puppy supplies. Oh, I might sneeze. That's why I thought I might be late today. I don't have a doggy just yet. I'm going later in the day, but to go meet the puppy because I haven't met him yet. I've just seen pictures. But I got up early today and I knew I was going to go get some stuff and I didn't know if I'd make it home on time, but we're pretty much on time. If that pup says, no, thank you. It can talk. Bets in which plushie and frame and behind her is the first puppy casualty. He's not going to have free run of the place from his first moment, but I have a feeling that he is going to chew my shoes and some other things, and that's fine. We're gonna work on doing all the right things. We've done a lot of research. I have many lists, but I think the first priority will just be making sure that puppy is safe and comfy and can just kind of like settle in and decompress a little bit, at least for tonight. Can you tell us all about them? I can tell you a few things. There's some things that I don't know, and I also, they sounded pretty confident that this is my doggy and I can take it home today, but just in the off chance that something happens and I'm not able to take this dog home today, I'm already going to be heartbroken. I don't want you guys falling in love until it's more of a sure thing. Don't believe you got any sleep. I won't show any pictures right now. If I pick up today, then I might post some like Instagram stories, but I want to make sure puppy first. It's a mixed breed puppy, and I'm a bit hesitant to say the breeds that they think he's mixed with because he's a shelter pup. I don't think anybody's met his parents, so they're not sure for sure. They're just based on the characteristics that him and his siblings had. I don't know if they knew who Dad was, but And maybe I'll find out more today, and maybe I won't. I don't know. But let's just say breeds that that are high energy and that are not small. I think I'm going to have a big, big handful. It's too late. We'll be heartbroken on your behalf. Hello, everyone. Hello. Good morning, Hazel and chat. Kitty cat, would you like to come up here? The office is going to remain a kitty cat zone for the immediate time being. So, kitty cat, you're safe in this room. You're okay. You've got your safe spots. So last night, my partner and I set up, my mysterious partner and I set up we set up like a little den. We got a crate and like a bed that fits in it, and I have kind of this like fuzzy tarpy situation that I laid out to kind of put in like the puppy play area at first, so that it's easily washable if we do have any house training accidents. But the kitty cat, she's blind, but she finds stuff real quick. It was like late and we were having a snack, and I see the cat just like walk into the crate and then lay down, so it'll smell at least a little bit like kitty cat. Maybe that'll be a good first step on the scent training thing. I don't know. Very difficulty mythic. I did close it so she didn't spend the night in there, because I don't want her to be furious. She's already going to be furious. I don't want her to be more furious that she decided she has this cool new bed that turns out it's not for her. Hi. Kira probably can tell you. Oh, she knows something's up for sure. She is concerned. We're going to take the introduction real slow, and worst case scenario, if they really, really, really won't ever get along, we'll keep them supervised and separate forever. I don't anticipate that being the case, especially because is a puppy that's still being socialized, that we can introduce positively and slowly with lots of reinforcement and love and supervision and treats. But kitty cat safety, of course, comes first. Good afternoon, Hazel. Good afternoon. Had to panic stuff my face with some food. Good luck. Hopefully you'll smell puppy paws soon. I got the call on stream yesterday at probably like 11 a.m. maybe somewhere in and around that range. So it's been like, what are we saying, like 21 hours since then, and there's been a corner of my brain that ever since then has been nonstop puppy, 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 just on loop, day and night, forever. It took me like 3 tries to get tired enough to fall asleep, because I would read my book and I would get really sleepy because I was exhausted, because we were running around all day yesterday getting ready. And I'd put the book down and I'd close my eyes, and then I'd start thinking about it, and then I'd get excited again, and then I got like reawake, and then I had to get the book back out, and then I had to read more and get sleepy all over again. Yeah, we'll have to. I'm sure we're gonna learn an awful lot, but I think I'm as ready as I can be at this particular moment. There will always be time to get more things and to learn more stuff, but I think I've done as much research as I can do without overdoing it and just freaking myself out. I read a book a couple times. Would it be fair to say the breed of the puppy is fairy tale mix? What does that mean? What's a fairy tale mix? Puppy smell, best smell. Oh man, I got some teething toys. I got some different treats. I got options because I don't know what kind of treats he's gonna like, so I want to make sure I have something that's at least a good start. It's tough because he's a puppy now, but all signs point to that he's gonna get quite big. Not like Saint Bernard big, but you know, good sized dog. So he's gonna grow out of a lot of stuff, but he still needs like a harness and a leash and a collar and all that for now. Oh, mixed breed origins largely unknown. One thing that I might do later on down the road, it's not like a priority or anything, but one thing I might do out of curiosity is do, they have DNA tests for dogs that let you find out like what their genetic makeup is breed-wise. Funnily enough, I've never done that for myself. I've never had one of the DNA tests that tells you what your ancestry is, but I would 100% do it for my dog. We call them street mix here, but I find fairy tale mix sounds nicer. Human ones are highly inaccurate. Font of Night. We technically have some mount chances here. I'm expecting nothing. I mostly just wanted something to do with my hands. I might end up doing full Nighthold clears on the non-skip characters after. Bears Adventures, welcome to the stream. Thank you, Raiders. I don't have answers to a lot of the questions. I'm sure I'm going to find a lot of that out today at the shelter. I'm probably going to find out more with his first vet visit. I've got a list of questions that I'm going to ask that's all sorted out and in order. It's all going to be taken care of, I promise. I am doing my very, 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 very best to be responsible, good doggy mom. It's going to be okay. We can do it. What date? If all goes well, today. Puppy day. Puppy. Hi, sweetie. I think it's going to be tough for me to talk about anything else today. I can do it. Okay, no luck with that. 20 to 31. I could do heroic and normal full clears actually, just for more tier and mog and stuff. I think I might do that. I think mythic I had most stuff on because I did mythic 4 times for the skip. Have you thought of names? Yeah, I've got a short list. There's 1 or 2 in particular that, based on the pictures, I have strongly in mind, but I know I have to meet them first and get to know them a little bit and see if they fit, you know. It's boy doggy. We aren't helping either. We have puppy brain now too. Know the feeling. Yeah, mystery partner does live with me. We're gonna be co-parenting. Quite excited. Rate difficulty heroic. Reset all instances. I guess I don't need to reset. I just do it out of habit. Did I not have a pet out for that whole thing? I might not have had a pet. Let's get Hampshire. Do I need to go tame dog pets? What kind of things would you do in WoW if you were going to have a dog theme stream? I used Embark Vet for my doggy. 100% European village dog. Tiny bit of German Shepherd. Other dogs. Find other dogs with shared DNA too. It's too fun. That's why you kept saying we. I thought you were taking Kira with you everywhere. Nah, I'm just being a little coy about my personal life, but I am half of a we. Gonna say you could plop out a dog for your companion. What are you farming? Oh, sorry, I'm going the wrong way. Transmog. I'm gonna do a full clear even though I have a skip. I am farming transmog. I wouldn't be mad if Gul'dan decided to drop them out, but I would be happy to get any of these gear drops that I need. I might even do a little work on setting up, like getting some gear or even getting, well, probably not speed gear. I don't know why I'm so reticent to get a speed set. Hesitant to get a speed set? Yeah, hesitant. But there's a few characters that could probably use some item level. I could just drag them through a Researchers Under Fire or something to get a couple of pieces of veteran gear. We respect privacy in this chat. You guys are the best. You guys are really, really great. Are you concerned? Gul'dan may turn you in for bullying him. He calls the shelter and he's like, listen, you can't give them a dog. Farming the bad apples for the secret old Nax man. Puppy update. I went puppy shopping this morning. Puppy shopping and grocery shopping. I got some, I got another fridge quiche and frozen pizza, and I got some more easy meals for if nobody wants to cook. Even Gul'dan wouldn't be that mean. Where is this? This is Nighthold. It's one of the Legion raids. The entrance is in. So if this is the Broken Shore and this is Dalaran, the entrance is in kind of the middle of Suramar, over here. There's lots of great sets in here. Egg pizza? Pretty much, yeah. Egg pizza, but with pastry crust instead of bready crust. I'm a little older than you. Twitch little sister. Love the Mythic Druid transmog. Earbuds instead of headset. Just when I'm streaming. I like having one ear open so that I can hear my own voice, so that I can regulate my own volume more effectively, which is easier and more comfortable to do with earbuds than with a headset. The struggle is that their battery lasts about exactly 3 hours, which is usually how long I stream. I guess it's not a struggle. It's like a nice reminder of like, hey, it's time to wrap up the stream now. You can't hear anything anymore. Turn it off and recharge them. Managed to brute force Karaka to give me her mount, my elf flock, back at Mechagon for the dungeon spider. Congrats, so exciting. It feels a tiny, teeny little bit like Destiny, just because I couldn't believe that with all of the competition for dogs and for young dogs in particular in this city, I couldn't believe that they looked at all of the different applications and they were like, this one. But I'm really happy they did. I'm so ready for a doggy. Did the same, but also so I can hear my kids if need be. Very normal goes away. Think about 3 months before things get back to normal. I was reading a lot of stories about people that were adopting dogs and adopting rescue dogs and getting puppies and different stages of the adoption cycle. And I've read about that stage, about how there's like a, oh dear Lord, did I make a massive mistake face? What have I done to my life kind of stage? So I don't know if you can be prepared for it, but I've at least heard about it. I have no expectations that this is going to be all sunshine and roses and puppy kisses. I'm hoping that there will be some puppy kisses, but I'm sure there's also going to be some land shark and some accidents and some settling in and growing pains and whatnot. Puppy blues, very real. It is Destiny. Went through that with my favorite dog. Couldn't stand her. Oh. That's what I tell people with kittens, is I tell people, listen, they're lucky they're cute, because otherwise nobody would put up with them because they're monsters. But they're just babies. They're not trying to be mischievous or misbehave or anything like that. They're just they're baby animals, and they're doing baby animal things. It's not their fault that they don't perfectly fit into like a human society and household and everything like that. They don't know that your shoes are more expensive than the toys. You gotta help them with all that. Has the good rug been moved? It may get moved. The initial puppy ground zero has been thoroughly puppy proofed and fenced off, so that puppy won't have like access to cat right away or anything like that. We can very much pace out that introduction, but also so that puppy doesn't have free run at the entire place in the first day, because that can be overwhelming and also harder to puppy proof. More stuff for him to get into, so can introduce him to his bed and his toys and his bathroom spots and stuff. Yeah, I think he's gonna grow up to be a big dog. We'll have to see. Cat carrier backpack so Kira could come on the walks with you guys. She has a tough time going outside because she can't see what's going on because she's blind. So she really panics when she's in areas that she hasn't mentally mapped out yet. We might still be able to eventually work up to something like that. But she might also just prefer to have some quiet time to nap at home without any commotion whenever we take doggy out places. Yeah, there is a slight possibility that in my preparations, not to say that I'm overqualified for a dog, but I am taking it very seriously. This is the utmost responsibility. What else can we get in here? What are we looking for? We're in heroic. Star Augur has tier gloves. How's the hunter tier coming along? How are we doing on that? We're in, oh, that's next Ramus. That's not what we're doing at all. We're doing Nighthold. Got kind of a mix of it. I've got the entire mythic set, which isn't super surprising. We're 5 of 9 heroic. I don't want to call that set underwhelming, but it's definitely not as flashy as some of them. Adopted a 5-month-old kitty 2 weeks ago. Can confirm what you just said about kittens. 200th attempt is the charm. I can feel it. It's possible. Anything's possible. Possible. Yeah, it's a little bit whelming. Oh, that's okay though. More is more. More mog is more mog. I think I have yet in this clear so far to get anything that's I think I've yet to find anything that's the sheep going off. That's new. Maybe Botanist wants to give me some gloves. That might be nice. What's my favorite tier set of this tier? Our current tier or Nighthold? Because our current tier is Priest easy. That's a no-brainer. The Priest tier is awesome. The other sets look nice too. Evoker sets don't do anything for me, which is unfortunate when I'm an Evoker main, but I just put pretty dresses and comfy looking t-shirts on her and stuff and then go Visage form. For Nighthold, I actually don't know off the top of my head. I have this vague idea that all of the Legion Mog looks awesome, but I couldn't visualize like a specific set. Maybe the Demon Hunter one. I have not told name yet. I'm not 100% sure myself, but I do know that I cannot whisper a hint of any of the options. Otherwise, people will get attached to them, and then if I pick a different option, they will forever think I picked the wrong one. It's the thing that they tell new parents to do with their babies is if you have a short list, do not share it with anybody except for your co-parent. Because you will regret telling anybody if you tell people too early. Hi, kitty cat. Evoker, gray sweatpants, t-shirt, spaghetti sauce stain. Yeah, that's the stuff. Visually, raid looks quite good. Never been here. It's a beautiful raid. It's a beautiful, beautiful raid. It had great fights too. This was a good tier. Botanist, would you like to give me some gloves? Nope, okie dokie. However, we can at least mount to vendor. I set up scrap, so it should do a decent job of auto-vendoring stuff, and I've decided that I'm just going to take a quick little scan to make sure there's no grays that I could equip. There's some stuff that I could maybe send to other characters to learn from that item, and I think I'm not going to worry overly much about that. I think that if it's on the given character, then it'll get learned, and if it's for another character, then I'm just going to try not to stress about it. I wonder why. Here, let me look at my scrap settings and just make sure they're all in order. Add on scrap. So auto sell. Oh, I see. Character specific. Unusable. Low level. Yeah. There we go. That's better. I think there might be an option for artifact relics as well. Maybe not. But yeah, it won't get rid of the greens unless I tell it to. Oh, it also didn't get rid of the artifact relics. I wonder why not. That's okay. My pup had multiple middle names, including Cheesy Bread Stealer. Yeah, I think there will be endless nicknames. If Kitty Cat is Honey Bun and Honey Bear, what if she gets jealous if I call the puppy Honey Bear? What if everybody's Honey Bear? Manually mark things as junk with a keybind. One I like is shift space. That's smart. That's a good idea. How are you sitting still? I'm a little not tired, but I feel better because I've written everything down. The first thing I did when I turned off stream was I made a big list of all the lists I was going to need to make, and then I went and made all of my lists. I populated like my shopping list and my questions to ask list and my things to bring with me list and my to do before tomorrow list and you know, we're gonna get these things here and these things here and we can go this here and get this thing sorted on this day. And I feel at peace because I have a plan. I'm sure my plans will all fall apart, but at least I have a starting point to work from. I might keybind scrap. Oh, maybe in key bindings. Maybe there's a scrap section. Yeah, there is. Shift space. Shift space is going to be no good for me. I'm like looking at my keybuttons to make sure I don't use something that I usually use. Sell junk, toggle item under mouse. We'll try that. Shift S for scrap. It's kind of funny. Partner called him Honey Bunny Bear frequently. His pup being picked up right after stream today. Later today. Later today. I was gonna name my dog Shark Attack before I went with T-Rex. You're welcome to use the Shark Attack name. When's the next buzz cut? I think that I'm almost at a length where I can shave off the pink parts and then do natural brown again for a little bit before I do my next color, which might just be pink again. I think I've been doing this whole clear for Mog, and I think I haven't gotten anything yet. Although I suppose the only way to get anything... Ooh, actually. Haha, I lied. I gotta be a wee. Nice, I need that. Here's an item off the list. Do you feel that Najadar was a zone with great potential that wasn't harnessed enough? No, I thought Najadar was a zone with great potential that they did a lot with. There is so much to do in Najadar. I spent a long time in that zone. It had a raid in it. It had reputations and dailies and world bosses and treasures to summon and rares to farm and treasures to find and slimy slugs to whatever it was that I was doing with the slimy slugs. Najadar was fantastic. That zone was full of content. Any idea how many times you could go in one packet to die? My initial math indicates 3. I used 1/3 of the first. I used 1/3 of the dye that I bought when I did my hair the first time. So, and I measured it out like on a scale by weight because I wanted to make sure that even while using just part of the stuff that I was still getting the right proportions of everything, like developer to lightener and then color and whatever. So I used 1/3. So I should be able to technically do it 2 more times on that one container. See you later, kitty cat. Should tell you in the chat window when you mark something. Okay. I like the scrap coin because it indicates to me whether or not something is on the junk list without you having to mouse over or find out or anything like that. I think eventually I may reach a point in my life where my gear has too many things. Hey, another one. Where my gear has too many things displayed on the tooltip, because right now we have something in the top left corner and something in the top right corner with the Can I Mog It markers, but it's just really nice. It's so handy. Happy puppy day. Hope it all goes well later. Can't wait to hear more about him soon. Thank you very, very much, Rachel. I think Kira she knows something's going on. she has a healthy level of concern. She loves all the new stuff, though. I had to prevent her from sleeping last night in the new dog bed because she discovered it and she thought it was for her. And I think eventually it will probably be for her because I think that he's going to grow out of it. And then I can wash it and hide it somewhere and she'll discover it and she'll think she's done something. But for now, I don't want her to hate him any extra because he took things that she decided were for her. Remember the slime-covered battle pets. Bit overwhelmed with content. Mech and Najadar combined was too much for me. I did the same thing. I think they should have staggered them. I think they should have released one first and then the other one in like a follow-up. It was so much content for one patch. Yep, I've read about smell exchange. I've read about feeding them near each other's smells first and then closer to each other in person. I've read about with puppies how you can do slow introductions and then help to reinforce them for any calm behavior that's inside of the cat. I have a plan. I'm sure it's not going to last forever, but I have a plan to at least start with. It's also not the first time I've introduced a cat and a dog together. It was the reverse last time. It was Joker as an adult dog meeting Kira as a kitten, but I have done the whole procedure before. I promise I'm not just winging it. What kind of puppy? Puppy dog. Woof. The good rug hasn't been moved yet, but it may get moved. It also has a coffee stain on it, so it may not be as good as I think it is. I do have the Mechagon wheel motorcycle mount from the meta achievement. I don't have the rusted colored one from Rustfeather though. Coffee life. I'm gonna get Kira some of her favorite Lucky Treats too when I go to the when I go back to the pet store, or go to the other pet store, the fancier pet store, because she has treats that she really loves from there. And she just deserves to have some nice things happen for her too this week. But secondly, I think that I can use that to help coax her into. They got her through a vet visit that she found to be deeply distressing, and she was like, well, okay, fine, as long as you keep the Licky Treats coming. So I think that'll be useful to have on hand. Make sure the worms are secured. Frustrating that it'll be days before we hear from you again, taking a little initial time to stay private. The thing that I was considering, and it would be pretty last minute of me, but I'm kind of rolling back and forth in my mind if I want to take next week off. So instead of just being gone Monday, Tuesday, being gone until the following Wednesday. Because if there was ever a time for me to take time off this summer, I know I should have given more notice. But we're kind of between content right now. They're not raid testing just yet. We're not prepping for 10.2 just yet. It's about as quiet as it's ever going to be. And I think that I'm going to have a bear of a time trying to stream on Wednesday. Partner is here, so Puppy wouldn't have to be like alone in the other room. But this room's going to be a kitty space for now. And I think that it would be awful for me to try and sit here and focus on anything else. Even for a little bit, so maybe some settle in time at first. Smart time. Stop thinking, just do you. Don't worry about us. Again, frustrating, fully support you taking the week off. It's a good idea. You guys are so magnanimous. You guys are so sweet. It would suck for us, but I do suggest it. They just really wanted to settle in. I feel... Oh, I thought she was still there. She's not still there anymore. She's gone. He's with a foster family currently. And, oh, hang on a second. I gotta scoop the cat box. Okie dokie. Alrighty. Yeah, he's with a foster family right now, and it's just going to be a really big day for him. And I also feel bad that someone else is going to have to say bye to him, but I know they're probably going to foster other puppies. And they probably have doggies of their own. Take a week off, but as an apology, give us a lot of doggo pictures. It would suck less if you post photos. Duly noted. Duly noted. One picture of puppy each day. Didn't sleep for the first few days. Taking the week to acclimatize would probably massively help sanity. Yeah. Could not be a foster parent. Don't know how people do it. I think it would be so hard. Maybe you get more used to it, and maybe you get really happy to be able to give them like a good early start and to see them go to their loving forever homes. Foster failure times 4. Oh. Puppy, 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 puppy. I was buying toys today, and I was like, I don't know what he's gonna like, because in the picture that I have of him, there's one where he's sleeping in basically like a nest of toys. So I got him some balls to play with. I got him rope tug toy. I got him a couple of different chew toys, and then I still want to find like a puppy Kong for him. They didn't have any at the store. Because I know he's going to be teething, so he needs some toys to help stimulate his gums and some things that I can give him to trade for my shoes when he inevitably finds them. I got a squeaky toy because I hate myself. I got him a little like a stuffed platypus with a squeaker in it that I betcha he's going to eviscerate. But there's only one way to find out if your dog is a toy destroyer, and that's to give him some toys and supervise him while he destroys them. Rope tug classic. Careful with the rope. Yeah, they can't. Yes, that's true. That's true. That was something I always had to be careful with when I gave my previous dog. He loved different like natural chews, like the antlers and bully sticks and even rawhides and stuff like that. But you had to watch him when he was chewing them, because if he got any small pieces off, or if they got like mushy and soft and came off, he could choke on those. So he loved them so much that we would give them to him. But I would always, you'd like keep an eye on him when he's got them, because if he starts taking pieces off of it, it's time for that one to go. Yeah, I think the platypus might bite the dust. We'll have to see. Any luck? Was that Mythic? Did I full clear this on Mythic? Did I do Heroic first and then Mythic? No. Why was there a chest there? Oh, the chest is when you do it on Heroic. I see. Also, I'm pretty sure I got none of these things to drop. But that's okay. We can try normal. Normal has some transmog I'm missing also. Systematic toy destroyer, jaws of iron, supposedly unbreakable toys for child's play to him. I thought that was funny when I was reading the different labels and whatnot. Also, our sound's died, hasn't it? Oh no, it's back for you guys. It's not back for me. I might need to turn these off and back on again. But a lot of the toys were marketed with like indestructible, super ultra tough, the stuff they make monster truck tires out of. It's like, what kind of? I mean, I know dogs do that, but it's just very funny to see it on all the marketing. Macy does. Thank you very much for the 17-month resub. The amount of nature-themed shirts you have is amazing. You might be grateful if the squeaky platypus bites the dust. They have these supposedly silent squeakers that are like squeaky toys where the squeak is at a pitch that the dog can hear but not you. And I don't know if that's lies or not. Find out. Red difficulty. Normal. They get that. Tough dogs don't like them. I didn't get any of the super hard, heavy, tough ones because he's still baby and he's going to need something that's like at least a little bit like rubbery, squishy, chewy. I got him a couple of different styles of teething toys so that he can hopefully find something that he likes. Dog was given the femur of a moose. Bit through the ball socket part at the top of it clean. Holy moly. Don't be alarmed, but there will be a chest at the end of normal. I got myself all backwards, man. I don't know where I'm getting my ideas from. My brain is many places, but it's not in Nighthold. This might be the worst possible day for me to get a mount drop if I do get a mount drop, because Gul'dan's going to drop them out, and I'm going to be like, huh, yeah, it checks out. Your brain has become puppy. Did you get a dog? What did I miss? I should make a command. Well, let's get through today, and let's see if everything goes well, and let's make sure we don't get our hearts broken. Before we get... It's too late. I'm too excited. It's too late to not get excited. I'm picking up a shelter puppy this afternoon. Clip through that thing as if it were a toothpick. I'll make the command. Mount is just a +1 since it can't fly. It can't even fit through doors. Those things are huge. I remember when I got the blue one that was like the mount collecting meta, and it was during BFA, and I was like trying to go through doors in Borealis, and it wouldn't even fit through like the big archways. It's too late for all of us as well. We're all in. If our hearts break, they break. Is there a dog mount? There is. There's Shuzen, the Divine Sentinel. It's a shop mount. It was one of the Lunar New Year shop mounts. There's also like wolves and stuff, I'm pretty sure. You know, like the Orgrimmar. There's all kinds of these. These are sort of doggy mounts. What if I post an Instagram photo of a dog and it's just like... Imagine the poor Torn on that thing. Leaving in a few minutes. Enjoy your time off if you take it. Thank you. I'm thinking increasingly that I'm going to. I will post, I'll make a post to the usual outlets. So I would do a YouTube post. I would, not like a video, but like the community post. Discord. I'll probably change the stream title. That's always my first go-to if I'm ever gonna like be late to a stream or cancel a stream. I do my very best to at least change the stream title. So if you like turn on the stream and you refresh and you're like, where is she? That's usually the good place to check. Storytelling, thank you very much for 10 gift subs. Appreciate it very, very, very much. Frog. Monk class is tiger. I was barking every time I used the gift of the werewolf, which made me Google if wolves can bark. They do indeed bark. Therefore, dog. There is some trivia about large cats and about how they can either purr or roar, but not both. So like lions can't, and I don't know if this is true, but lions can roar, but they can't purr. But then some cats like what's an example? Like a lynx, maybe? Mountain lions? Like they can actually purr. Partially true. I haven't met one to verify. I have yet to pet one of the forbidden cats and find out if it purrs. It's not high on my list of things to do in my life. Cheetah's purr, it's amazing. Someone just said, someone just say it's a dog. Morton Hazel. Oh, the monk class mount. Centaur dog mount. There's the Tyvan toy. And there's Bakar pets. I don't know if there's a Bakar mount. I want to say there isn't, but maybe it was data mined. Maybe it's coming. Big cats like lions and tigers make a chuffing sound. Smaller cats like cheetahs and lynx can purr, I think. My brain misread that as Cheetos. I'm just imagining little, like, neon orange cats running around outside. Oh man, I was driving home last night, and it's very normal. There's a lot of deer in these parts. There's even deer like downtown, but I was a little ways out of downtown. I had gone and had dinner at a house with my family, and I'm driving home, and I see like a deer kind of walk across the street, and it's a ways ahead of me, and I slow down a little bit, and I'm glad I did, because then a baby deer followed it, just kind of ambling across the street, and then there was like another pause, and then another like baby deer followed it, ran right in front of a car, who thankfully managed to slow down in time. The deer, I think, the baby deer, the fawn, I think, realized that it had just skirted death and, like, booked it, like, bolted. I've never seen a deer run that fast to catch up with its presumably upset mother. Oh, man, you really gotta keep your eyes open. They made it, which I was very relieved by, but there are a lot of deer around here. You hear stories about there's one buck that like will just walk down Fort Street, like downtown, and just kind of like walk by the shop windows and stuff. I'm sure he's heading to areas that are grassier, but it's really not that unusual to see them around. I like how the segue to the baby deer crossing the road where Cheeto's purring. I can't remember how I got there. I can't remember how I got from Cheeto's cats to baby deer, but sprinting across the road. It looked like it was levitating though. Like its legs were so fast that you couldn't really like focus on them, and you could just see this deer like, it was like a road runner. Meow. Wasn't a thing when I lived in Victoria. Wonder what changed. I don't know. Maybe more landscaping, more gardens, more grass. It's not like in every single day you're gonna see them, but then some days you're gonna see like one in the morning, one at dinner time, and another one the following morning. And I think it's not like all the time downtown, although it's been known to happen, but you get out into like the different, you get out into like Fairfield and Oak Bay and that kind of direction. I had a deer walking around just outside of our apartment building, which isn't strange for where I live. Cities in Norway tend to have fairly large patches of woodland areas. These ones I'm pretty sure, I mean, I guess there are wooded areas that maybe they go back to, but I feel like they're just kind of urban deer. Some of them live, I think, in the Ross Bay Cemetery. There's like a big kind of grassy, quiet, it's a really beautiful place to walk through actually. But there's always deer there. And they're just like laying down and hanging out, munching some grass. Don't forget the Darkmoon Fair. I know it's your favorite event every month. Is there anything that I need to do there specifically? Oh, I guess there's transmog, but the one thing about the Darkmoon Fair that I think enables me to ignore it to the degree that I do is that the Darkmoon Fair comes back every month. So if I miss something, I don't have to wait years for it to rotate back around. Get off at midnight, have to drive 15 miles to rural areas to get home, have to watch for deer every night. Lioness spotted in Berlin, but it seems it was just a wild boar. Oh, the skill point quest. I don't know if I'm skilling up any professions right now. I've been kind of slacking on my profession knowledge. My main is basically done. My main has filled out everything except for a couple of herbalism nodes. And my alts were working on the professions, but I've gotten really quite lazy about it. So it is a good idea. Especially if you're like trying to skill it up and you're at a very expensive point. You get a couple of free skill ups just from doing the quest. Farming tickets for the 1K mount. Even through the Ross Bay Cemetery. Oh, wow. Yeah, it is different now then. Alright, Aluriel, you got anything for me? You could drop a belt or some boots. I don't think I've had any mog drop yet in here, except for the BOE. I did get the belt. Nice. One thing off the list. And then I am going to do Star Augur and Botanist, but there's no mog they have for this character on this difficulty. Croesus might have a tier chest for me if I'm lucky. Also, do I have a pet? I don't think I have a pet. There we go. There's Hampshire. Rare mog off the Roth concert. Two-handed mace. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure I'm missing lots of like toys and transmog, and I'm sure I need tickets for transmog too, but I am prepared to let that be 800 plus towards that mount. Oh, nice. I bet you can finish it this time. I'd say aside from deer, the other piece of like well, it's not deer-sized, but larger wildlife that you'll see around here is the trash bandits, the raccoons. Again, not every day, but if you go out at the right time of night and you go through the right neighborhoods, you'll see packs of them just crossing the road or like, you know, going through gardens and generally causing mischief. I think they're very cute, but that's because they don't cause mischief really near my building very much, and they are and I don't approach them or anything like that. I'm not that person. Not a good idea. If you have deer-sized raccoons, I want pictures. Yeah, no, not that big. Not that big. But it's fun because in the dark, and it's just kind of a silhouette from a distance, especially if your vision is not perfect, you get to play the game of, is that a cat or is that a trash bandit? Is it a big cat with bad posture or is it a raccoon? Sometimes it's one, sometimes it's the others, because there are raccoon-sized cats around here. There are some big cats. They had to shut down my local post office because of a raccoon infestation. Holy moly. That is serious. That's gotta be bad. I'm imagining the raccoons holing up inside of the post office and like barring off the doors and... Hi, kitty cat. I know, there's a lot of stuff over there. My dining table is in my office, and my vacuum is in my office, and my paper shredder is in my office. I have a mild warehousey vibe in one corner of this room because I've made a nice open space to set up puppy stuff. Yeah, the raccoons really should have thought about their needs for mail service. Kitty cat, you want up? Oh. Hardly any country in Europe you wouldn't get by with just English. Do puppies chew on cables like kittens do? I think puppies chewing is really rewarding for them because they're like their teeth are coming in and their gums are itchy, so they are also kind of exploring the world and learning about things with their mouths, kind of like how human kids like to put a lot of things in their mouths. So they're gonna want to try and chew everything, and anything that feels good to chew is gonna get chewed. It's an untested theory for me so far, but I think the idea is to try and work on some leave it commands, but mostly just like redirect them. So swap them out for a toy, swap them out for a chew toy, swap them out for a chew toy. He does need to chew. Just make sure, try and do my very best to make sure he's chewing on appropriate things. Happy puppy day. I am fully expecting him to be a teething monster, though. I think he's going to want to chew on everything, including me. Anywhere I went in Europe, at least one person within an arm's reach that spoke English. I feel a bit, well, not a bit. I feel quite uncultured because I'm monolingual. I don't really speak any other languages. I think if I went to a country that had a primary first language that was not English, I would try to learn at least your basic your basic polite phrases, your please and thank you and sorry and your hello and goodbye, and just like the real bare bones get around stuff. And I would butcher the pronunciation, and people will shake their heads at me and be like, please go home. I've also heard that when doggies begin to grow older, they go through a rebellious teenage phase. Maybe not all of them, but I've heard that there's often, when you're training and raising a puppy, kind of an older phase where they're getting a little bit more independent and they're less inclined to listen to you. That can be very frustrating for new dog owners, because their previously super sweet loving puppy all of a sudden is like, Mom, no, I don't wanna. Oh. And I'm imagining it in like human teenager terms. I'm sure I'm going to be educated in a big hurry what that's actually going to be like. But that was another thing I was reading about, is them getting kind of rebellious when they're a little older. How bad was my rebellious teenage phase? I didn't rebel in terms of like engaging in any dangerous activities really, but I definitely had the phase of nobody understands me and I don't want to hang out with my parents, that kind of thing. They were good parents. They tried not to take it too personally. They also let me mess with my hair and wear my raccoon eyes eyeliner and wear any clothes that I felt like I wanted to, that I could afford, assuming that I was appropriately dressed for school anyways. They didn't mind if my fashion was weird as long as I was decent. Croesus, would you like to give me a tear chest or a helmet? Personality will determine how much they rebel. I am still, I haven't met him yet, so I don't know anything about what he's like, and they're all a bit individual, even considering their breeds. But I'm expecting that he is going to be smart. I'm expecting that he is going to be stubborn. I'm expecting that he is going to be a bit independent. I think he's going to be a handful. I think we're going to get to do all kinds of cool adventures, though. I'm hoping that I can really nail down what kind of food rewards that he likes to help teach him how to do some fun stuff, because I want to be able to take him with me everywhere. In other words, good fit. Do you wish you had known? That's you're fine, Dorta. Do you wish you'd picked a different instrument than trumpet for popularity purposes? Oh man. The main reason why I started with trumpet was because we already had one. Instrument rentals were pretty expensive, and we had like an old student trumpet in the house from when my stepdad at the time had played in his youth. So I was able to take over that one. Why have I done this? I haven't killed Gul'dan yet. I don't even think I've killed Elisand. I took the wrong teleport. So that was the main thing that... I think I talked myself into it pretty quickly, though. I think I don't think I was resentful of that fact. I think I pretty quickly identified with it. I think my neighbors liked me a lot better once I got out of the basic stage, because the very first year of any player learning how to play a horn instrument is brutal. It is loud, and it is not very nice sounding. But once you get better... it was very sweet. My neighbors used to say they liked hearing me practice, and I always was very flattered by that. And also a bit concerned because they could hear me from like an acre away, but that's a trumpet for you. They're loud. Strings are worse than horns. There's one place that I go for walks in where at a certain time you'll hear what sounds like somebody learning the violin. And I've been walking there for long enough to hear them get a lot better, and I'm really proud of the stranger that I've never met. I don't know if it's like a student or if it's an older person, but they sound lovely, and they've come a really long way in the last year. And they're very dedicated. They're always at it. Never regret learning kazoo. I couldn't figure out the kazoo, man. We had a couple of kazoos around the house that were just kind of generic kids' toys. And I could not figure out how to make it make any kind of appreciable sound. I think it may have just been that I didn't like the kazoo. But I couldn't get it to work, or if it worked, I didn't think that that's what it should do. I did not understand, because these were one of those things I did not get. Harmonicas, on the other hand, someone who must have hated my parents got me a harmonica. It was red, it was shiny, it tasted like metal. I never got very good with it, but I enjoyed that a great deal. No e-trumpet you can plug earphones into? There's a device that I actually own called a silent mute that is a mute that you put into the trumpet that will make it sound much quieter, and it actually has a port where you can connect headphones and it'll like try and recreate the sound back to you. It's not as good as practicing without a mute because the resistance is going to build your embouchure differently. Like the muscles in your face aren't going to build quite the same way when there's resistance like that. But it is a good... I remember when I went to Disney World with my mom when I was 17 or 16, 17-ish, to celebrate graduating. I was such a committed player at the time that I took my trumpet with me and I took the mute so I could practice and do my scales and do my exercises in my hotel room. Both because I was committed and also because I think that my teacher was very insistent that that be the case. He's like, okay, you can go on vacation. You take that horn with you. You do those studies. Font of Night. Steph the Bee, thank you very much for the 40-month resub. Yeah, we had recorders. We also had ukuleles. Music education was apparently a big deal. I had a ukulele for a minute as a kid, and then the recorder phase lasted longer. I took the recorder very seriously because I really badly wanted to do band, but they didn't have band yet. Band, you had to wait until you went to high school for band. And I was still in like middle school. No, you had to wait until you went to middle school and I was still in elementary school. Anyways, I had a recorder and you had sheet music that you could learn to read and to play with the recorder. So I would just practice with that because I was so ready for band, but they wouldn't let me do it yet. And I wasn't ready for the trumpet yet. I was so excited when I finally got to move up to like the real instrument with like the felt case and the... I still love the way that they smell, like the trumpet with the your slide grease and your valve oil. I'm gonna get nostalgic. Who's your favorite trumpet player? The first one that comes to mind off the top of my head, I don't think he was my all-time favorite. I'm spacing on the name of my all-time favorite. I had a CD that my teacher burned for me. I'm pretty sure illegally. Maynard Ferguson comes to mind as one that I listened to a lot. His recording of Birdland will get stuck in my head at the strangest times. And he could just, he could play that thing. Never told anyone, but I never learned how to read sheet music in band, memorize the order of what buttons to press. I think that was more common than you would think. I knew people like that too. Or people that would, over time, like memorize a specific given piece, but never really learned how to sight read. I learned how to sight read, not because I was such a smart, virtuous student, but because it let me get away with not practicing. They would tell me to learn a piece of music, and I would be like, okay. And then I would like not do it, and then I would show up, and they'd be like, all right, show me what you learned. And I would just sight read the whole thing, and they'd be like, wow, great. And I'm like, thank you. I know I'm not the only kid that got away with that, too. Cat streamer, too? Kitty cat, you streaming? Hi, sweetheart. You're always going to be my stream girl. I saw Miles Davis live. Did you? Oh, did you ever envision yourself as a renowned trumpet player touring the world? Oh, of course. I thought for a hot minute I was gonna be the new Chris Bodie. As it turns out, Chris Bodie's still going. He doesn't need anybody to replace him. I was gonna be the next trumpet pop star. Either that or I was gonna play trumpet in a orchestra for a symphonic metal band because I was also a metalhead. I was a bit of a conflicted child. I'm trying to remember the name of the other guy that I really liked. There was Arturo Sandoval. His recordings were amazing. No luck. I think we got to do more folklores because I think that's the last of my skips. Not that I was skipping anyway. Not a lot of trumpets and metal, but that could be fun. I'm pretty sure I was so arrogant as a kid that I thought that any ideas I had must be the best ideas, and that if I thought that there was going to be a new genre of music that involved trumpet fused with something weird, that it was going to be like the biggest thing ever. What happened to the dream of being a world famous trumpeter? It died right around when I went to university and met all of the other kids that were much better than me, and then met all of the teachers, because all through the band kid pipeline, there are camps and there are workshops and there's the summer music school and there's the mentors, and you meet all of these people that are incredible and they worked so hard their whole lives, and they are scraping by financially because they teach. I think it occurred to me at some point how rare it is to be able to make a living without teaching. And I didn't think teaching was for me. I didn't particularly get along with people my age. I didn't really do well with, I'm not a natural with children. And I think it occurred to me at some point that not only was everybody else much better than me, but that there wasn't really, it's not that it was impossible, but there wasn't really a lot of room for my dream. And that my dream was just kind of the thing because that was all that had been in front of me at that point. I also burned out very hard when I was trying to go to school, and I got quite depressed and had to move home and kind of gave up on all the dreams for a little while. So we have done 1, 2. Let's do some priest Nighthold, shall we? Well, no. Let's do some of a class that needs more transmog than that. Shaman's awful to run, but it would have Mog. Honeyplum has like no year though. Lazy Marathoner, thank you for the 9-month resub. Still a metalhead, would love a metal band with a brass section. IRL, I'm named after Miles Davis. The fact I like jazz is a good thing. Now you're living the dream. My dream of playing WoW for a living. Yeah, this would probably have been my dream if I had any idea it was an option when I was a young person. It used to be, funnily enough, like a refrain of like, listen, you can't spend all your time playing video games because you can't play video games for a living. And at the time, the quote unquote only job playing video games for a living was people that would do like QA testing. So they would get game testers to play the games to find bugs and stuff like that. And if you wanted to play games for a living, that was the only job anybody aspired to. Yeah, no one knew how much the world was going to change. Do I have a spec? Old content spec. Give Holy Nova. Saw the nice little gnome farmer outfit. Any chance to link items? Thank you in advance. Have a nice rest of your day. Here, let me take a look. Let me take a look. It was a shirt and some pants. So her chest piece was technically hidden. It wasn't a piece of chest armor. The shovel was the Dragonflight Dragon Gardener shovel. Well, I'm going to see if I can find... I think she might still be wearing it. I might be able to actually just like link it with one of those in-game chat links. Yeah. I think this was the one. I may have changed her shirt. She had a workman's shirt on before. But you can really switch this with any shirt that you want. Appearance list. Link outfit. Copy to clipboard to share online. She might have had the green lumberjack shirt on. The lumberjack and workman's shirts were the other shirts that you could swap out. You could really do it with any shirts that you want, but if I look at my appearance list. Not sets. Items. Shirt Mog is like the secret, you know, 5G brain. That's not what people say, is it? 40 chest brain. Of doing like the fun casual mogs is just to hide the thing. Oh, my command didn't go through. I think I need to do a space. Unrecognized command. Okay, so I'm gonna take the slash out of it. In order to make this work in game, you would put a backslash right before outfit. It would be slash outfit, and then you would paste the rest of it. There we go. Okay, let's get on Allison and do a little bit of Nighthold. I love this set too. You can tell because I'm like I had it mogged on multiple priests. BFA, Dungeon Gear, Questing Greens. They had a couple recolors of them. Hi Hazel. Hello Jans. Did you hear my news? I'm getting a puppy. I don't think she knows yet. I have listened to Nightwish before. I don't feel like that was my most rebellious teenager listen to either. Hi, baby. I did hear Gul'dan drops a toy for Demon Hunters after Priest runs. Actually, you know what? Let's do Demon Hunter runs first. That's a good idea. If I only get through 3 of them. What's he doing tonight? Oh, that's right. I did Ice Crown because I was trying to get those legs. Amazing. Cute. Love it. Perfect. She was indeed wearing the green lumberjack shirt. Yeah, I don't think I have the patterns for them. I think I just bought the crafted shirts. That sounds like something that I would have done. So he can go back to Dalaran, which at least works for him now. I remember a 3-year-old listening to Black Sabbath in the car. Kind of hard to really listen to rebellious music. Yeah. I think, honestly, I didn't really listen to anything with the intent of upsetting my parents because I had headphones. By the time I was a teenager, I had headphones. I didn't have to play my music in earshot of anybody. So I could listen to whatever I wanted, and I don't think my parents cared. They weren't, when I was a little kid, it was funny actually. When I was a little kid, I won at like a fun run event, a giveaway for a Bare Naked Lady CD. And I'm pretty sure my parents, I don't know how they had possibly not heard of them, but they had like never heard of them before. And they were like, Bare Naked Ladies. You can't have this. And they confiscated my CD. And I was very upset. But then later, I think they gave it back because maybe they listened to it and found out that it was perfectly fine. And then later, we all went to a Bare Naked Ladies concert. And I still love all of that same music to this day. I haven't listened to a lot of their newer music because it's not the stuff I'm nostalgic for. What am I doing? I'm turning on scrap. We have scrap on. We're going to make sure that we have scrap options. Yeah, just like that. Get rid of some extra stuff. 389. Oh yeah, he might need that. That's his regular neck instead of his Heart of Azeroth. Saw BNL a few weeks ago in NYC. Oh, that's cool. Kira, sleep in your room. Is there a plan for where Pupper will sleep? Pupper's bed in his first spot is set up in the front room right now, but I want him to... My partner and I are going to rotate having somebody sleep out front with him. Eventually, he's going to sleep in a bed in our room on the floor. In theory. He may eventually sleep in bed, but he's going to be a big dog. I'd like to at least try to have him have his own very nice bed. But we're going to rotate having somebody sleep out front on the couch with him so that somebody can be in the room with him and can take him out for his middle of the night bathroom trip. I only had a boy band phase to upset my rocker parents. That's funny. Enjoying your streams a lot. Love from Norway. Thank you. Yeah, they are Canadian. I don't know how my parents had missed the memo on it. I guess they were busy parenting. I thought it was scandalous the first time I heard the band's name. If I had $1 million, we would help out all the dogs. Big farm with all the dogs. That's not how it goes. Kind of a dog. Puppy dog. Mixed breed shelter dog. Don't need to go into details. Let me say congratulations. Why, thank you. Yeah, I've been kind of gradually leaking details over time. It's one of those things. It's not like a big secret, but it's not like a thing that I, open up with when I meet people either. Hi, I'm Hazel. This is my partner. Dijon ketchup. Dijon ketchup. Mmm. If you haven't heard the song, you're gonna think it's a bit strange. Been 1 week, etc. My favorite Bare Naked Ladies songs are Brian Wilson, the live studio version from the CD that I got from the concert. Although the radio edit's good too. And then Pinch Me is another really good one. I love that song. It's like one of my favorite like comfy nostalgia songs. Their big hits are fun too, but they're a little bit too much for me. They're a little bit too chaotic and hectic. You don't love 1 week? I do, but sometimes I don't have 1 week energy. I don't know. I don't think I knew that Weird Al did a version of it. Okay, it is 10:15. I think I'm going to take a pre-Nighthold stream break. Although we might lose Kitty Cat. Usually when I get up, not always, but usually when I get up for a stream break, she follows me. You want to model a little bit more? Hi. Hi, sweetie. Yeah. Couple more 17s to go for my alt vaults. You're so brave. Okay, I'm going to be right back. I had a feeling we might lose the cat. She's out of her water bowl. Yeah, I'm using the CurseForge add-on manager. There's a version of it that you can download that doesn't require you to run the Overwolf client. It still goes through Overwolf, so you still have to agree to their terms of service, but you can just launch CurseForge directly. Am I on Mythic? Raid difficulty? I'm not. Mythic. There we go. Much better. Okie dokie. We need to reload. My other thing's getting errors. I betcha I need all kinds of Demon Hunter transmog because Night Flame is a young man. He's a new character, and he does not have I do not have a long history of farming Demon Hunter transmog. So yeah, he only has half of the stuff from Nighthold overall. Not very much from LFR, although apparently a little bit. I guess some of it's like generic leather stuff that I might have gotten from just doing LFR Nighthold Mog runs. What's his item level? He's 382, so he can kill these things, but it is going to take him a little bit of extra doing. 16, full of angst, ready to find his look. Are you telling me that he hasn't already found his look? You don't think this is perfect? Holy smokes. I can't go that way anyway. So it looks like Scorpion does not have anything for me, but Trilliax will have a couple of pieces. The new CurseForge add-on's been good for me though. I've been happy with how it's been handling updates and whatnot. It's I'm hoping that we can stick with that one for a while. I feel like there's a new add-on manager, not every year, but then it seems like no add-on manager lasts forever, and it's a bit wearying. A button for that? I got a button for that. Some people just can't comprehend Night Flame's glory. I mean, maybe one day he'll get a fancier version of this. Maybe this is the proto version of his style, and he's gonna grow up and into more intricate pants. He'll never wear a shirt, I don't think. Although there are like tattoo shirts that you can get. You know, like the Blood Hunter set's like a tattoo shirt. What would he look like actually? I don't know if I've checked out to see what the bones of the Blood Hunter would look like on a night elf boy. What are we saying here? The pink hair doesn't quite match. I feel like it's not as scandalous as it is on Barnacles. Because he's got such an itty bitty little caboose. Oh. How about the Warbear harness? I don't know. Harnesses are good, but I think that Anthus can... you know what? I don't know if Anthus is ever going to change it. I think Anthus likes his outfit. I'm still buzzing, but I'm like tired buzzing now. Could he wear glasses? I don't know if he needs to wear glasses. He's got his blindfold. I think that I don't know what it looks like if you put glasses on a Demon Hunter over a blindfold. It might be a bit silly. I like his black blindfold because it covers enough of the rest of his face for me to forget how night elf faces can sometimes, male night elves can sometimes be a little bit silly looking in the face region. Their structure is a bit they're just very chiseled. Try the auto sunglasses toy. Yeah, the boy warlock is still alive and well. What do they call those? Black shades? Aquatic shades. Yeah, that's what they're called. Yep. Here, let's go get him into the light. It's kind of dark. Yeah, that's pretty goofy. Alright, nothing from Chronomatic Anomaly, but Trilliax could maybe drop a belt if we're lucky. You could use the personal spotlight. Portal didn't work if you need to complete campaign and Horde. Maybe that's it. Maybe that was it. I don't think I played any Horde characters in Shadowlands. I did get him into Oribos off stream later and managed to find the quest to pick up. I managed to find the quest to pick up to start the Blood Knight thing. I haven't done the quest line yet, but he does have the quest now. The Oribos skip was pretty painless once I found it. It was just a matter of finding the correct person with all of the millions of expansion starter quests in the city to do. And it was labeled Shadowlands, so that was helpful. Feels like a Galaxy Brain meme. Level 1, wear glasses to see better. Level 2, glasses with glass lenses. Galaxy level glasses over the blindfold. I don't know why I'm going back to kill this one. It's really unnecessary. I'm less excited about finishing the raid skip now. Just because, you know, the full clears are where the transmog's at. We have a lot more mythic mog than we do normal and heroic. I bet you we'll find a few pieces in normal and heroic. Mythic plus 18 underrot, toughy for tyrannical. Overtime, but we did it. No one left in a pug. Nice, congrats. Hey, just finishing it. Finishing it's good enough for vault. Yeah, tyrannical underrot is surprisingly. No matter how many times I've done, it's usually Krog that throws problems for me in my brain. The other ones I can generally speaking handle, although sometimes by the time I get to the end of the dungeon, I'm a little bit too fried to pay proper attention to the frontal cones, and I'll just space and I'll stand in a frontal cone and I'll get walloped. Or the other thing I did in an underrot recently was I spaced and I stood in one of those rotting spores. It had been so long since I'd been in an underrot last boss where the rotting spores came close enough to hurt anybody that I completely forgot they would one-shot. They were just like never ever a problem. And I forgot to respect them, and then one of them touched me and I died, and I went, excuse me? What's the deal? Alright, no luck with that. Next mog is Croesus, actually. But we do the full clear. Hazel, did I say a bad word? What happened? I do sincerely apologize if I did. That's my bad. You could just drop the skip quest. Oh, wanted to ask about the weather. Okay. I'm kind of tired, so I was like, wait, in telling that story, did I just turn off my filter? Oh, ran into the spore things. Okay, I was just worried that I said a bad word. I feel a little better. No, I haven't seen the movie. I don't think I'm going to. I think the theater is not my first place to go in the next couple of months. I might rent it at home eventually. Weather here, the last couple days have been warm, cloudy, humid, kind of muggy. It's been like mid-20s Celsius, so not crazy hot, but pretty warm, overcast clouds, and like very humid. You get kind of sticky just walking around outside. It's okay if you did, we're all adults. Did you say a bad word when you ran into the spore things? Oh, probably. Sometimes I think well, not so much lately, but for a long time I was extra foul-mouthed in my free time with my friends to make up for all of the swear words that I didn't say on stream. Not so much anymore, though. Beautiful week or so, but today it's cloudy. OR is getting ready to dump CA into the ocean. Is it, what do you mean? Is it raining? I think my go-to word or phrase whenever I unexpectedly die is just a really dramatic no. I become, what is it, Himdall? Odin? There's somebody in there's somebody that goes no in Halls of Valor. The other guild meme for when you get hit by something. I don't know if it's a meme. I think we mean it pretty genuinely, but especially if it was a graphic that was misleading, like there was a visual that wasn't in the right place, and you get hit by something that you didn't think you should have been hit by, you go, disagree. No, I disagree. Swear like a trucker, sailor, biker, but edit most of the time since I'm a mom. Mine's just a quiet oh and then sigh. I take it very personally when I die. I get usually especially if I'm like focused really hard on not dying and then something unexpected gets me, I'm prone to dramatic gasps. Oh, no. How could this happen to me? Never been so tempted to set out a season. This set of dungeons are my most disliked. The season 2, or did they announce the season 3 ones? I'm gonna pull up Wowhead, because if so, I want to know. I'm not planning to go to BlizzCon. I'm planning to stay home. I'm extra planning to stay home now. Do it in my head and say, oh no. Yeah, my other favorites are oops and sorry. My bad. I used to say, I know what I did, because if I knew what I did, the last thing I wanted was for somebody to tell me what I did when I already knew what I did. I wasn't ready to have my mistakes explained to me, so I was just like, I know what I did. I know what I did. I know what went wrong there. I promise I'll do better next time. Sorry. Can't say oops, summons my dog looking for snacks on the floor. Fractures in time. God comp nerfs. Dragonflight class tuning. Blue news. Great push. Hot fixes. I don't see any new season dungeon listings. Maybe you mean the current seasons. No, Henry, you're fine. You're fine. It's not offensive at all. I don't know how I'm gonna survive waiting between end of stream and then later on today. I've got some time to kill. I have some more stuff to set up. As though the dog's gonna care that all of his new toys are like carefully arranged. Out of focus? Let me see. Entirely possible. It is a no makeup day. It wasn't intended to be, but I didn't end up having time this morning because I went out shopping and then I came home just in time to turn on stream, and then I figured, you know what? It's gonna get all sweaty and gross by later today anyways. Maybe we just won't bother. Some days are good mascara days, and today is not one of them. Hazel, I'm barely coming back to WoW. Great Mythic Plus season, just Grim Batol. Did an extra 30 minutes, you'd have less time to kill. Yeah, it's possible. I mean, it's not possible, that's just math. I'm gonna try and go until noon. Meow? That's a new meow. I like to imagine that she's just sitting there looking at all of the new stuff, being like, just putting it together in her head. She probably remembers about her previous dog roommate having dog toys and a dog bed and stuff. She may have put it together. No! Unofficial. Oh, not official yet. Yeah, where is this info from? Is it this? I mean, season 3. Siege of Borealis, King's Rest, Triumvirate, Grimbatol, Everbloom, Shadowfen Monastery. Grimbatol. I think that's fine, if true. I would have to make my peace with Siege of Borealis, but I might have a better time doing it from scratch this time. My struggle with it before was I didn't learn it when it was new, and by the time I learned it, everybody else already knew it, and I was very behind, which was a good way for me to resent that dungeon. I just didn't unlock it right away. Kamalani Panda, thank you very much for the 33-month resub. Wait, really? What if you're just psychic with the Grimbatol prediction? Pushing for 3k? Mid-season AUG plus God comp stop me from pushing. Next season I'll push again. Weren't they nerfing it? I thought they were nerfing it. I read a headline. I didn't read the article. Classic internet behavior. I thought I saw a third of the headline while I was skimming through an actively moving webpage. Welcome, Coral. Learned tanking with Grimbatol was current. A lot of old tanks with very bad memories of early pugs. Was Grimbatol the one with the really tall giant that had the shield and the sword, and he would do like sword mode and then shield mode? Because I tanked that one too. Yeah. Oh, and the first boss that does the charge that one-shots people? Oh, that's classic. I got nuked by that my fair share of times. Yeah. Nerfed it twice, makes no difference. Egg boss where you have to stand in the middle of the swirly. The last, oh, yeah. And there's like the things that go to hatch the eggs and you gotta switch the ads. Yeah, I think that's a good dungeon. I think that's a good dungeon. I think the dragon boss is good. I think that the bombing run thing is boring as all heck, but fine, you know. Whatever. Maybe they won't keep the bombing run part. Grimbatol confused with Tolbarad. I'd call it Grimbatolbarad. I like Grimbatolbarad. Do not see it translating to a key well. Fine memories of that dungeon, maybe a little long. The trash and the bombing run thing was a bit interesting because you might have different trash packs to do or be able to skip depending on which things that you finish during your bombing runs. It's been a long time though. I don't really remember a lot of specifics. Okay. This guy doesn't have anything for me, but Croesus next might have a tier chest if I'm lucky. Grim Brad. Brad having a bad day. Having a Brad day. Do I need any zone drops from this? I need 2 cloaks still, so it's worth it for me to kill trash. We have a chance to get the 2 cloaks. Seed of the Triumvirate, I feel like maybe hard, but it's one of those things where everybody said Brackenide Hollow was going to be like one of the hardest keys, and they were aware of what the different pain points were going to be. And when it turned out that the actual season came out, Brackenide Hollow is not even close to one of the hardest keys. Not that it's like a cakewalk, but it's I think that with foresight and tuning, and the other thing about Seed of the Triumvirate was when it first came out, it was one of those like mid expansion dungeon releases, and they always tune those to be pretty tough. You know, they want this new dungeon to be like harder and with better rewards, and it's like a challenge to get through. I don't know, and I'd have to see it again, but I don't know if the mechanics themselves were specifically challenging or if it was just tuned that way the first time around. Croesus. Hulk's Fusion made me break out in a nervous sweat, but also the only 20 I've timed. I think Brackenide was one of the first 20s that I ever timed. I think it was the first 20 that I timed this season. But yeah, I think it'll be okay. If, again, if true, not confirmed. Siege of Borealis, I have an unfair and unwarranted hatred for. I'm gonna have to learn how to forgive. I'm gonna have to be a bigger person and let go of whatever was wrong with me. Whatever I was going through during Siege of Borealis, I'm just gonna have to let it go. Move on. Make peace. So you're doomed. What are you trying to say? I got a belt. Yeah, those have definitely crashed in price. Mana trash in this raid's unreasonable. It's great if you're just looking for BOEs. First one always causes trouble. Do it in a 14 struggle. We had to really, like, raid style progress through that fight when we first started doing it. I remember our first tyrannical key of the season. Oh, hey, I need that one. Our first tyrannical key of the season got us. We had to really. We didn't time it. And I think we spent half of our time in there on that first boss. But to be fair, we didn't understand it yet. It went a lot better once we kind of learned it. Hate Siege. People would jump down. I would jump down. I would get eaten by sharks. Everyone had run ahead. I was not with the group most of the time. I also remember something like that. Oh, there was a jump that I would miss. There was a beginning, like, jump, run, skip thing, and I would fall. That's right. I'm just going to choose not to think about that today. Today is the best day of the year, and I'm not going to think about Siege of Borealis anymore. Are the mystery bags for 2 pet charms worth? If you have a great deal of assorted pets that you are trying to level up, then yes, it is better value to buy those. Well, how much are they? 2 pet charms? I think it is better value to buy those than to buy the specific ones, or to buy the generic ones, or even to buy the 35 stones that just get you all the way to 25. But once you start finding that, oh, I have no more dragonkin pets to level, or I have no more humanoid pets to level, you're going to start having surplus stones that you can't use, and then it may be less worth it. But I don't know if that's still the case. I haven't rerun those numbers since they changed the prices on them. That's just how it used to be. No luck with that tier chest, eh? Ellison could have tier, and so could Gul'dan. We've got a couple more chances. Plus, it's possible that he gives the skull. Oh, the skull could drop in any difficulty, so we get 3 chances at it. That's nice. Why are we looking at his pants crotch? Oh. Unfortunate zoom in. People have mentioned that a couple times, and I'm like, no, I'm not. Oops. My bad. You're a Dracthyr, you have wings to get over gaps. Sometimes my wings get me into more trouble than they get me out of. My wings might float me into the ocean, over the safe area. For my Demon Hunter, I run basically default loadout talents, and I press I-beam to kill trash and hold raids. I don't play it at anything approaching an end game. I have no idea what the rotation is. I'm just farming transmog. I think it's probably safe to say I'm not playing momentum. I think that's the harder spec that does more damage, that's like annoying to play. And if I had to hazard a guess, I don't know what talents I have, but I betcha I'm not running momentum. Are you a little fuzzy? That's a good question. If you could I-beam people IRL, would you? I feel like I used to do that as a moody teenager. I would like just I had the moody teenager glare down pat. How do I Here, let me turn off game sound for a second, and then we can find out if there's static from the microphone or static from the game sound. Not that I have any good ideas about how to fix it if so, but this is just microphone, no game sound. Testing 1, 2, 3. Giraffe, hippopotamus. Puppy, 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 puppy. Okay, so if you hear static right now. Yeah, there's probably a loose cable in the audio somewhere. This cable's locked, but there's like a bunch of different areas that it goes through, so it's just the microphone. That's annoying. What do I want to do right now? The hazard is sometimes I mess with it and I make it worse. Puppy technical support to test the cables. Yeah, there's a fast way to replace an XLR cable. Sever it. After Elisand, I'll take a second and I'll reset all of the connections. But if I make it much worse, then I might have to kill the stream. I have anxiety tummy. Maybe a GM will help. Excuse me. I have a staticky microphone connection. Can you please help me? Eh? No. Alrighty. Let me take a look here. Don't hear static on TV, load the stream on my iPhone, hear the static? Huh. There's a possibility that it's bizarrely some kind of a Twitch thing, but I am going to do a bunch of rebooting different things just in case. I'm gonna mute it just for now. Testing, testing, testing. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, how are we doing now? We restarted it in a variety of different places. Okay. There we go. Hi, baby. Did you fix it? Thank you. Mwah. Okie dokie. Very good. Let's go kill Gul'dan. Maybe that's all you need. Didn't hear it in the first place. I've no use to you. Oh, it's okay. Miss Kira is 9 years old. She's a 9-year-old kitty. Font of night, that one. Kira IT Services. This character may actually struggle a tiny bit to kill Gul'dan. He may have to really put his back into it. Or Illidan. We'll see. Just got one 10 weeks old. He's very attached already. Aww. Baby. Gonna drop him 100%. Finally got Werebear this morning. 6 hours, 100 plus failures. Congratulations, Emperor Walnut. You did it. You persevered. You won. Yeah, Saga, that's precisely it. That was exactly what I was into at the time that I adopted Kira. Reminds me of the meme of all the kittens in the tower saying it's okay, we're with IT. Jeff, we gotta let people be happy. We gotta let people enjoy success. Oh, man. Oh, I have the hunt. That'll be helpful. That's a good damage button. It's like me, only bigger. No luck on that one. But there's much more Mog that we can potentially get from Heroic and from normal Nighthold, so let's clear out our bags a little bit with the joys and virtues of scrap. Which I'm a big fan of, even if there's a strong chance that it eventually sells something that I wish it hadn't. I would rather, generally speaking, just get rid of stuff. Don't mind me. Definitely not underpricing things just to get rid of them. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Juan came up for LOTR dog on Google. There was a dog. Someone mentioned something about a dog. Because I'm in like the first chapters. Maybe I'm a little bit farther than that in now, but I've got such dog brain that I was very highly tuned for anybody mentioning a dog. It wasn't like a named character or anything, but it was just an incidental. Someone said something about going somewhere with a dog. Why don't you use a bag mog? I don't want one. I don't like the combined bags, and I find that default bags kind of do everything that I want them to. Very difficulty heroic. Auto vendoring, on the other hand. That stuff's nice. When I first installed Scrap, I think that maybe it was an incidental thing, but maybe it took the liberty of enabling the default Blizzard combined bag for me. And I was quite offended. I was like, excuse me, how dare you? I shall put them back at once. I like separate bags. Main character of the Baron and Luthien short story. Oh. Scrap sold my purple Stormwind teleportation cloak. Oh no. Oh dear. I wonder if that would be a thing I could manually remove from the junk list, because it's like a toggle, I think. I think if I... Yeah, I have a toggle for scrapping or unscrapping things. That's so funny, though. That's unfortunate. Couple hundred gold. I'm ready for some transmog drops. I think I've been in Nighthold too long. I've gotten a few too many things. If the tier isn't dropping, then we're pretty much out of luck. This belt, actually. This heroic belt from Trilliax. This leather hasn't dropped for me yet. We're still looking for that. Scorpion has legs. Heroic Scorpion's got legs. And he does not wish to give them to me. I'm not going to worry about doing the skip, because if we do it on Mythic, that'll apply to the lower difficulties. He has 4 of them, even. Thank you, Charlie. I did install some acoustic foam recently, and I was going to make a video, and I still think I'm going to. My original plan was to kind of make a video showing the install process and doing like some before and after sound clips so I could compare whether or not it was worth it. And when I initially listened to the before and after clips that I'd recorded, I was like, this is going to be the most underwhelming video ever. It barely sounds different, but the longer I listened to them, the more of a difference I could tell. So I guess it'll just kind of depend on how picky you are about sound quality. And also, I already had a fair amount of echo dampening in the room with the furniture and the rugs and the plushies and the drapes and everything like that, and I acknowledge that in the script for the video that I will one day, but probably not anytime soon, finish. I think it does make a bit of a difference. However, I don't know if it makes enough of a difference to justify setting it up, but it looks cool. It definitely looks like a streamer corner now. Legs you want will drop in a clothware. Isn't that how it always goes? So we... Oh, Chronomatic Anomaly has boots. Stutter step treads. Okay. I haven't gotten to Trilliax yet. One thing at a time. Katie's laid back down. I love all the things. Find it overwhelming as well. It can really get you in over your head sometimes. Oh, I got the boots I needed though. That's nice. I like the Demon Hunter's nice and fast. Right now where I live, 93, feels like 106, humidity 69%. Oh, I'm so sorry. That's the worst when it's like really humid and really hot and you just feel like you're swimming. You're just, everything's wet. Everything's damp. You can't even sweat properly so your body can't cool itself off right. Oh, that's miserable. Yeah, it's not so bad here today. Can't complain. Sounds like where I'm at, Northern Dallas. I also hate getting steamed. I like getting steamed in, like, you know, the sauna, the shower, maybe a nice hot bath on purpose, but then it's nice to, like, dry off and Go to a nice cool bed. Even though I'm from North Carolina, always think I was meant to live in the Pacific Northwest. Yeah, the one time I went to Florida, I visited Orlando, and it was very hot and it was very humid. My hair was extremely frizzy for the entire time. Although I think my hair was always frizzy back then. Okie dokie. No luck. Cloak of Ever-Burning Knowledge. Oh, look, it's Mage Tier. I think Alaska counts as the Pacific Northwest. Just because you're Norther doesn't make you not Northwest. You're still North and West. Barbie or Oppenheimer. I have not seen either of them. I understand that they're both very popular. Stores don't carry Western steamers anymore. I ended up getting mine online. I ordered a metal. I have both. I have a bamboo steamer and a metal kind of great style steamer. I don't know why I need two. I use one for vegetables and the other one for dumplings. Oh, I have frozen dumplings. That might be a good dinner. We'll see. I don't know how much time I'm gonna have. Sounds like a good dinner. They're very yummy. There's a you can get what they're called dumpling drop. They're like pre-made frozen dumplings that are made in Chinatown here, and they carry them at a couple of grocery stores, or you can buy them from the location in Chinatown. They're a little expensive, but they're not as expensive as like takeout, which is how I justify buying them sometimes, but they're really yummy. They're really good. And dumplings are something that I love very much. I love vegetarian vegan dumplings, but they're undoubtedly fussy to make. I've made them before, and I could make them half decent. I did like some nice ones that were kind of like mushroom and cabbage, and they had like some glass noodles and stuff in them, and they were yummy, but like they were so fussy to like individually wrap. I'm not fast. Where is Alurio? I used to like getting they had Taiwanese dumplings at Din Tai Fung in a couple of different locations in Portland, and I liked those a lot. I really like that as well. That's usually the dumpling high that I'm chasing. Or if not, I had Viet salad rolls, peanut sauce yesterday. I know it's a bit boring of me, but I do love a good banh mi. It's functionally like Vietnamese Subway, but I love a good banh mi. I finally found a place that does a decent one here. I think I'm hungry. I had breakfast. I guess I had an early breakfast. I got up a bit early so I could hit the pet shop right when it opened, when it was nice and quiet. But it meant that I ate kind of early. I like Din Tai Fung. Still there at Washington Square, opening a new one in Pioneer Place downtown. It was okay. There certainly may be... Automod did not like your acronym. There might be better stuff, but I thought it was good. I really liked it. I like the Shanghai noodles too. Food. What even sounds good right now? I mean, I'm kind of thinking about the banh mi's. Esther, Sammy, haven't had one in forever. Those I think are not unreasonable to craft for yourself at home. You can kind of do like some quick pickled like cucumber and carrots in like a rice vinegar. You can do the mayo. You can even buy the buns sometimes in places. Could really go for a burger. Baked bread at Vietnamese grocery stores, make your own too. Yeah, it's the thing that I never make quite as good is a really good banh mi for me is going to have like marinated tofu cubes in it. And I just don't have the patience or the skill to make them as delicious as the Vietnamese place will do them. I'm too impatient when I'm cooking. I just don't think of making food enough in advance to marinate things very often. And it's a real skill to have marinated tofu still turn out like a nice texture and then be good for sandwich filling. Celebrating my son's birthday today with homemade lasagna and an ice cream cake. That sounds wonderful. Happy birthday to him. I'm getting... Oh, is it anxiety tummy or am I just hungry? Getting nervous. It's like a really, really, really exciting good day, but I'm also going to be really glad when it's like 3 or 4 days from now. If we're like a little bit more settled in, maybe we have like a nice little routine. Things are so stressful when they're brand new. Hungry, not as bad as my anxiety tummy. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. My crisis tummy will not eat anything, but it has to get really bad for me to get to that point. Oh, goodness. Okay. How are we doing? We gotta go do Tichondrius. Tichondrius could drop a belt for us if we're lucky. What time is little Urchi coming home? Later today. Later today. I hope he likes it here. Did you get both mounts? No, I still need the green one. Can't eat most Asian cuisine. Yeah, that's tough. Food insensitivities and allergies are really hard at a lot of restaurants, but I've been there. I have an idea for a dog name. Honey Bear 2. Next couple days off to get everyone situated. I think I'm actually going to take a whole week. I know it's super last minute, but I think that I'm going to take a whole week. Also, this is how I jinx them into announcing the next patch. I'm going to plan to do a little staycation dog integration because I was looking for a vacation anyways, and I'm certainly not going away now. Did I hear the word dog? Today is puppy day. Today is shelter puppy day. Probably. Most likely. I don't know exactly what could happen that would make it not puppy day, but I'm gonna try my best to... I don't know. I'm so excited. Puppy staycation. It's like 10 days. Yeah, it's like how a week off, but then there's like weekends on either side of it. Why would they announce it before BlizzCon? 10.2, not the new expansion. If they don't announce patch 10.2 until BlizzCon, I'm rioting. You cannot leave me in Underrot for that long. Like, there's no way. Give my pup kisses right now because I'm so excited for you. Mm. Oh, hey, I got the belt. That's... We have been in Plaguefall for 18 months. Underrot was just the first one that came to mind because we were talking about it earlier. What is my least favorite dungeon from this pool? Is it Halls of Infusion? No, it's is it Neltharius dungeons? Oh, hang on a moment. I lost my other earbud. This is the wrong one. Is it? Yeah, that's left. Oh, here's right. Okie dokie. Vortex Pinnacle. Ruin your life pools. Current season. What is current season? What is my least favorite of these? It might be Neltharius. Neltharius can be very stressful to heal. Neltharius is a very healing heavy dungeon. The last boss is also a bit chaotic. I'm prone to getting blown up by a swirl while trying to use my extra action button, which isn't my favorite thing to do. Uldaman's also quite long. That's true. That's true. Who's surprised Hazel has an analog phone as a ringtone? Did you hear my my text message beep from yesterday? I set them up to be both a bit old-fashioned because I have some weird idea that that's going to make me like them more. Say Uldaman for length. Filled out the app. They said they'd call me the next couple days. I got one stoplight down the road and they called me. 19, they said he was mean. What's your opinion on the matter? Does it work? Yeah, I would say that lately when my phone rings, maybe it's because I've been waiting for good phone calls. I would say that lately when my phone rings, I'm not filled with immediate dread. But I think it's because I've been waiting for good news. I think I just had to change my phone from the one that I used in 2020, what was it, 2021. That ringtone became cursed. It's a healer, Vortex Pinnacle, least favorite by far. He's not mean, his love language is bites. I'm glad he found somebody that understands him. I think a lot of cats that get branded as like super spicy, some of them certainly are quite spicy, but some of them are just adopted by people that don't initially have a super great read on cat body language and won't pick up on the initial signs that the kitty cat's overstimulated or kitty cat's just not in the mood. But some of them are genuinely not terrors, but maybe spicy is a good word. What was the curse news back then? Oh, that was the year that I was planning my move and I was navigating my divorce and dealing with a lot of different dealing with lawyers and stuff. And it was, none of it felt very nice. That was a year of extremely expensive, very not feel good news. I can't believe that it was, that it's been a couple of years already. I don't feel that old. I don't feel that old to have like my mom was telling me about some people that we used to be neighbors with and how she went and looked them up to see if she could come drop by and visit, and how apparently that couple wasn't together anymore. And she's like, yeah, well, I guess sometimes things do happen in 13 years. And I was thinking about it and I was like, in that time, I finished school, went to university, dropped out of university, moved back home, got married, was married for 7 years, got divorced, moved back home again, and now I'm getting a dog. Like, it's crazy how much life can happen within what's not actually that crazy of a long period of time. Quite an adventure. It was both a lot of life and not as much life as you would think to pack into that much time. I was thinking through kitty cats like when she was 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, and I don't remember a whole lot of those years because I'm pretty sure I did the exact same things all of the time. I was comfy, but I didn't really do anything different for a long time. On the other hand, almost half your lifetime. Massive chunk of your total lifespan. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty happy now. My biggest anxiety thought right now, which is, I'm pretty sure, patently ridiculous. But right now, I'm worried about, what if my dog doesn't like me? I told my mom that, and she thought it was funny. She's like, you're gonna have concerns, and that's not gonna be one of them. You were married for 7 years? Talk about it, I thought it was like 2 or 3. No, I got married when I was 21, and I got divorced when I was 28, going on 29. Puppies are contractually obligated to like everyone. "10-year wedding anniversary in February. We got married in Mop. I don't know which feels longer, Mop or 10 years of marriage." Don't have pets. I think when I give them treats, they will like me. Dogs, doubly so. I don't know. I feel like when I give my cat treats, she's like, "I'll take this into consideration. I'll add the note about this to your file." It's a part of the equation. It is like a pretty small part of the equation. It is maybe 20% of my passing grade. Font of night. Yeah, dogs might be different. It's been a long time since I've had a dog of my own, although I love them all. I love all of them. It's our 5-year wedding anniversary this Friday, but we've been together for 12. Oh, happy anniversary in advance. I see all the doggies walking around the different neighborhoods and at the different doggy parks, and once Puppy gets all of his shots, I would very much like to sign up, do some puppy classes, some socialization classes at the very least, so that you can meet and learn to get along with other puppies, and I'm gonna get to see the other puppies, and I'm gonna be like, this one's my puppy. Do you want to get the DH toy first or the mount first? Ideally the DH toy first, because if I get the DH toy first, I'm going to continue farming until I get the mount. And the reverse is not true. I don't think the reverse could be said. Any particular dogs you want to be friends with? No. I'm just hoping they get along well. Do you think it's a good idea to get a second cat, work long hours, feel she's not happy staying alone? That can go a lot of different ways. It's hard to say. It's one of those things that could help. It could make it worse. It could be fine. Yeah, it's tough. I don't know if I have any strong and fast recommendations on that. You can meet the big newfies. You have way more tries at the mount. That is true. 17th wedding anniversary coming up in November. Do you do special things every year? Anniversary is in April. We've been together for 25 years. There's the dream that she might like it and might become friends. Seeing eye dog. Seeing eye dog for cat. I think if anything, even if she doesn't like him and they make a truce of ignoring each other, which I think is our most likely ultimate scenario, I bet you will still use his passive noise to help navigate around, because she uses sound to figure out where people are and what's going on, and having another sound touch point might be helpful for her to, I don't know. She gets around just fine, but... I got some legs. Leg wraps a second sight. Are those tier legs? They are. I got some Demon Hunter tier legs. I did not get a toy. I'm pretty sure Rarity would yell at me if I got a toy. Do we need to learn any of this, or can I vendor all of this pretty safely? That was heroic, so we're going to jump out and do it all over again in normal. Congratulations, the new baby. My dogs are literally my children. He's a mixed breed pup. He's a mixed breed pup. I'm being cagey about which breeds they think he's mixed with, because 1, they don't know for sure. And 2, there's got to be some surprises in life. Anyway, ever told anyone Kira's part bat? She uses echolocation to find herself. I definitely will make specific sounds to help her find things. Like if she's looking for her food bowl, I'll tap it for her and she'll zero in on it. Or if she's looking for me, I have like a special kitty sound that I'll make that to be like, kitty cat, I'm over here. But also she can hear me do anything. Do you think Nightflame would be embarrassed to tell his friends he died to fall damage several times? I think Nightflame doesn't have any friends. He thinks he's going to get around to making friends one day, but he hasn't really done anything that gets him out of the house since he moved here. And he's slowly become too comfortable with a life on his own. Grade difficulty normal. Reset all instances. Minor mixed 2. Dashant X Westy. Puppy's gonna move things. Kira's gonna be annoyed. You can tell people what breeds your dog is. People will still tell you you're wrong. I'm anticipating a lesser version of, you know how parents can sometimes, like new parents can sometimes go a bit crazy because there's a bajillion different pieces of parenting advice and tips online, and it's all kind of like with this judgy, very serious overtone. And no matter what you do, you're going to have people telling you you're doing it wrong. I think there may be some, maybe to a lesser degree, but some version of that with dogs. So my plan was just to kind of do as much research as I reasonably could, make a plan and then just try to trust my instincts and my reading, and not get too distracted by a million different strategies all at once. Night Flame has fans, not friends. Very much so. Yeah. Yeah, I think it is important to there's certainly a downfall to being overconfident and to assuming that because you're a dog owner, you must know best. And some people can certainly be a bit bullheaded about doing things that aren't really best for a dog in that way. But then there's the flip side where you just don't have confidence in your in your plan. I think it's gonna be okay. I think we got this. Think you'll ever move back to Vancouver Island? I moved back at the end of 2021. I've been living in Victoria for going on 2 years. Well, we did a DNA test. People will still correct me, be like, no, that's a boxer. This is a pit mix. I was reading a lot about pit mixes and how even the phrase pit bull it's not like officially recognized by the fancy dog people. So it's usually meant to mean different things, but like you can get away and say this dog's not technically a pit bull. It's, you know, it's a staffy with a little Labrador and a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I have not mentioned the breed of my new pup. I haven't met him yet. All of a sudden, everyone knows the best way to raise a puppy. I figured it out. Got this. Yeah, what breed? I've been saying puppy dog breed. You know. Paws. Needle teeth, presumably. Oh, if everything goes well, I will, I'll at the very least Instagram story some pictures. It's like having a baby. Everyone gives advice. I think I'm also walking myself into it to some extent by choosing to talk about it and discuss it online and publicly. There was probably a world in which I would have just kept the whole thing under wraps, and you guys would have been like, "Is something barking?" And I'm like, "Nope, must be the neighbors." But I don't think I have the self-control or the other conversation topics. You'd probably notice when I had nothing to talk about, and I just kept stopping myself from saying anything for like 2 months because I was keeping the thing under wraps. Much like your car, 4-wheel, steering wheel. Dog probably has 4 legs and a nose. Oh, I got some gloves. I needed those temporarily displaced gloves. We are getting some appearances off the list. Which story would you go with? Neighbor's dog barking or the neighbor's dog barking? I mean, I do hear barking dogs often. It's a city. You leave your window open, you're going to hear dogs. You're going to hear sirens. You're going to hear car alarms. You're going to hear honking. You're going to hear a person yelling, "Whoa!" just walking down the street. I kind of miss the country. Maybe one day I'll go live in the woods. Any interest in Palia? Playing it while waiting for the 10 to announce. I've heard that it's cute. I haven't looked into it yet. Kyroy Croft, thank you very much for the brand new sub. Appreciate it. Did pretty well. Oh, keeping private that partner moved in. Yeah. I think the main reason I'm being less cagey about it now is just because I want people to be assured that if, you know, I do have puppy and I'm streaming for a couple of hours, that somebody's with the dog. Because otherwise that's like suspicious, you know. I wouldn't want anybody to think that I'm the kind of person that's like, all right, puppy, you go in this room. See ya. Fatty, thank you for the 36-month reset. Welcome back. Looking for raid for old instances. Each expansion is going to have an NPC that you can go to queue up. They're in different places, but generally the capital cities. So there's one in Oribos for Shadowlands. There's one in Borealis for Alliance to use for BFA instances. Horde has one in Dazarlor. Legion you get to via Dalaran in kind of the Violet Hold area where you used to get bonus rolls. Speaking of car alarms, wonder if they ever went off once when someone's trying to get in, or if it's just all false alarms. Yeah, I don't know. I think the thing that people mainly steal here is bicycles. Bike theft is a problem. But, I don't know. I feel like, I'm sure car theft is still certainly a problem, but I think it may be a little bit harder to get away with stealing a car than it might have been in, like, the 80s when it was just a matter of getting the thing going. Raids in BFA are sort of soloable depending on how hard you hit. Some of the mechanics are still basically undoable. A lot of Dazarlor is going to stop you. When I lived outside DC, squirrels would jump in my car, set it off all the time. Oh, that would stress me out so much. Can solo old or normal with the Sark trinket. Man, Beacon is so good for old content. Holy moly. Exploit flaw with the keys. You could start with a USB cord. Oh dear. I gotta go to my dad's 70th birthday lunch. See you soon, Hazel. Happy birthday to Isla's dad. Stealing car on an island. I think that, I mean, I'm sure some of them make it off island, but Vancouver Island is an island in kind of the same way that England, like Britain, is an island. It is a very, very big island. It's maybe not quite Britain-sized, but it's definitely, it's not like one of the Gulf Islands that are, you know, you can get from one end to the other in an hour. Am I confused? I am confused. There we go. Find old content a bit rough, my evoker. Mine is okay. I'm not a huge fan of my spammy abilities. Azure Strike is kind of alright, but it only hits like 3, 4 things. And then Pyre is good, but Pyre is on the global and it's kind of like, it's got a bit of delay. Deep breath. Awesome though. Well placed deep breath. Feels really good. Although the other thing I think that would make it, not just being an island, having to take it off a ferry, but if you were going to get a car from, say, Victoria and you were going to take it up to Nanaimo, there's pretty much one highway that you're taking. It's not exactly, there's not exactly a ton of back roads that you can do. Maybe there are. I haven't looked into it. But generally speaking, they could set up like roadblocks on the one if they wanted to. Anything from Botanist? Botanist could do a couple things. Purging, reorganizing my closet today. Glad you're still streaming. Makes it go so much faster. Nice. Fun place to fly over to flight sim, so I see maps a lot. It's a beautiful place to visit. It's a beautiful place to live too, if you can afford it. I don't think I've ever been farther north than Parksville. I think that's about as far as I've ever gone, like halfway up the island. Go to Rath Trevor. Camping. I've been camping in Parksville before. Have you ever experienced an earthquake there? That's what deters me. I mean, once or twice. But I don't think I've ever experienced one. I mean, once or twice. But I don't think I've ever experienced one. I mean, once or twice. But I don't think I've ever experienced one. I mean, once or twice. 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 Nothing that did anything more dangerous than, like, knocking a thing off a shelf, and that was, like, a notably big earthquake. It's not like some places in the world where you get a ton of little ones. And my understanding is that when there's finally, like, the big one, it's going to be so bad that it's not worth worrying about. Maybe I should worry about it, but I've kind of hit worrying cap in my life. Never been to Camel River? Maybe? Is it farther north than Parksville? I didn't drive when I was young. So I was never the one navigating there. I gotta look at a map again. Ooh, I don't think I ever did Tofino. I've been to Comox. Maybe that's farther north. Not much farther than Parksville. Yeah, I've been to Comox and Coombs. Tofino's on the other side, I think. People go there to surf. How does the worry cap work? I like to think that I have a finite amount of worry chemicals or worry juice available in my body on a given day. And once I've exhausted it, I just get kind of like tired and glazed over and not reckless, but I've lost my capacity to worry. I've run out of worry juice. Worry juice, incidentally, I think is the same as my excitement juice. It's basically the same feeling with different backstory. Okay, we do Techondrius? How are we doing? We made it to 11:30. I don't usually clock watch too badly while I'm streaming because I'm usually, you know, you're playing WoW. If there's anything that's going to engage you, it's having a nice conversation and just farming something in WoW. Normally I can do something like this all day long, but today is a little harder to just sit still. But I have to because not only is this going to be my last stream for a little bit, I'm taking a little bit of time off. Well, medium amount of time off. But, oh hey, do I need that one? No, I know that one already. There's only so many things for me to do before I leave. And I've got a while before I have to leave, so if I don't want to go crazy. Something worrying came up, would you just not worry? Usually to expend the supply of worry juice, it has to be like a pretty intense, pretty high amount. It's not just like I'm worried about the future or I'm worried about, you know, a mole. I'm trying to think of things that I would worry about that are reasonable. It's more like, you know, been traveling for 3 days and I've been at an 11 the entire time. And then somebody would tell me, hey, this thing's been canceled. You can't go that way. And I'm like, okay, so now what? Or someone would try to give me bad news and I would be like, I'm not ready for that right now. Or like ask about something that is stressful but not time sensitive that can wait. I am very quick to, if I'm in the middle of something else, I know that I can't multitask emotional stuff. So some things I will just put on the back burner for now. Get back to that at a later time. And I usually do. But trying to do multiple things at once. One is having, I am not somebody that can have, that can figure things out and make a lot of choices while driving. Maybe it's because I'm still a bit of an anxious driver or a newer driver, even though I've been driving for a few years now. But like, I cannot like make plans to, I cannot make plans while I'm driving. I will drive to where I'm going. I will get there. And then I can talk about it. But if you ask me to like pick out what I want for lunch or, you know, do I want to go and do a thing on given day? And I'm currently operating a motor vehicle, not getting any answers out of me. A worry reserve behind a large log. Oh. Mm. It's also a good extra reason, not that I need any more reasons, but an extra reason to not have the phone visible, or even alerts on while I'm driving is, I don't need any news of any kind while on the road. Updates can wait until later. Think I'm gonna make an omelet for lunch. Aw, thanks, Grando. That's really sweet. I think you'd be a perfect MDI announcer. Why no offense? I think that's a compliment. I think that's a lovely thing to say. I think one of the reasons I haven't made any efforts to push myself into that scene is I don't feel like I'm qualified. You know, I play keys. But I don't have any particular special knowledge about how, like, high-end comps work. I don't know what all the fancy people are doing. And then usually the other role for a commentator is to be the more, like, social facilitator. You know, the color commentation, to doing interviews with people, you know, make them feel at ease. And I'm not good at that either. I can't talk to people. I am a bit of a mess when it comes to meeting strangers. So hosting in general is a tough gig for me to consider doing because I don't have the... You know, a good host is going to make their guests or make the person that they're speaking to feel comfortable and have a good time and get some, you know, get some fun, interesting answers out of them for content. And meanwhile, I'm just trying to remember how my face works. Not a great fit. Is it possible that a tsunami alert on your phone should not wait until later? Those would go through no matter what. Those would, any like serious government-wide alerts would override your, those ones override the quiet time features. I get them for like Amber Alerts sometimes. Severe weather alerts would. Do you know general spells for the classes? Not always. No, I know spells for my classes. I don't usually worry too much about what other classes do. Great host for the WoW Q&A. I disagree. I think I would be the worst possible person. I can't even watch the Q&A. I have to read the notes later because just the whole public speakingness of it just makes my insides crawl into themselves in a little set of nesting eggs. And I'm not saying that I shouldn't work on and continue to work on my anxieties. They're not something that I would like to live with forever, and I have made a lot of progress, but some things are just not a natural fit. Favorite snack? Garlic toast. I had some late night garlic toast last night. It was perfect. I'm not tired. I'm not tired, I'm awake. I thought you were just gonna say garlic, leave it at that. Favorite snack? Garlic. In unrelated news, I can't figure out why I can only make friends online. How come nobody wants to spend time with me in person? Chomps into a giant clove of garlic. Roasted garlic cloves actually nice finger foods. I bet they are. I bet you're right. Who said pizza? Why are we talking about pizza? I'm interested in talking about pizza. I have a background in the subject. Public speaking? No. Absolutely not. There's nobody in here except for my cat and my screens. I'm officially in my sardines on a toast era. I miss my oats and blueberries era. I think that was a better version of me. Maybe I should regress to that. I don't know how I ever got full enough on them. I get hungry now if that's all I have for breakfast, but they were good. Oats, blueberries, chia seeds, flax powder, little oat milk maybe. Good stuff. Why did I leave that era? I entered my fried egg on toast era. Embrace garlic era. Oh. No humans, just thousands of different AIs. And I cannot prove differently. Kitty, how you feeling? Are you sleepy? I have a kitty cat in my lap. How you doing? Could I split my time between them? Maybe. I actually have my rice cooker has a function that is for oats, that is for like steel cut oats, and it also has a timer function, so I can actually, and I've done this before and it works great, set up the night before oats and water, and I can even like put my frozen blueberries in there, and I can schedule it so that it's ready to eat at like 8 a.m. for breakfast, and it's awesome. And I don't do it all the time, I guess just because usually no matter how much of it I eat, I still get hungry at like 10:30. It has, when you have like the chia seeds and the flax powder and the blueberries, you have fiber and you have some amount of protein. It might be a little low on fat. I don't know how to add more fat to it. I guess I could use like a high fat milk with it if I wanted. But yeah, for every once in a blue moon, I will be super clever and I will set up the rice cooker to make breakfast ahead of time overnight. But I gotta be smart for that, and I haven't been smart lately. Almond or peanut butter? I love almond butter, but it's too expensive for me. I can't afford almond butter. I mean, I could, but I choose not to afford almond butter. I'm saving my money for dog toys and house ownership. Peanut butter is just so much more affordable than almond butter. It's like $20 if I want to buy like a pretty small jar of almond butter here. No luck there. That was our third demon hunter clear, so we are out of those. How do you define a sandwich? A sandwich must have bread. It must have at least 2 pieces of bread. And it must have at least 2 or more ingredients in between. I think that if... that's not true, actually. You could put peanut butter between 2 pieces of bread, call it a peanut butter sandwich, and I would agree with you. Hazelnut butter. There's a product here called Nutella that is sort of like that. I haven't had it in a long time. I remember being really offended when I found out it wasn't a health food. Is a hot dog a sandwich? I think I might make some enemies. Hot dogs to me, the bun to the bun to dog placement is different than within a sandwich. I would say a hot dog is adjacent to a sandwich and that a burger is a sandwich. However, I will be fully prepared for other people to not agree, and I respect their opinions. I don't think they're necessarily wrong. Let's just say hot dogs are tacos. Are taco sandwiches. Yeah, that's true. Nutella is chocolatey, actually. I guess I haven't... You're right. You're right. It is chocolate and... It's cocoa and hazelnuts. And sugar. You're right. I haven't had pure hazelnut butter. I imagine it's expensive. I haven't checked, but I have a feeling it's expensive. I'm gonna check this up for, like... I wonder why that one's more. Let's see if I can get 5K for it. Cereal is soup. I heard there was like a sriracha shortage. Is it just for the main brand of it, or is it in general? Because I got a bottle of sriracha, and it's not like the Rooster brand, but it's yummy. Have that on breakfast sometimes. Cholula is the finest of the hot sauces, though. It is the tastiest one. That's both my opinion and a fact. You know what I'm tempted to do? Instead of more Nighthold. I could do either one more full Nighthold clear, or I can do a little Tomb of Sargeras. Nah, let's do another Nighthold. Well, no. Yeah. How much Nighthold is too much Nighthold? Crops in Mexico failed. Oh, okay. Who would be the next Nighthold? Was it her? I have so much cloth already. If I really want to expand, I would do Anthus Nighthold. Plate. Plate and Paladin. You go into a random raid with your Evoker for fun? It does sound fun. Numbers. I think Anthus Nighthold might give me some numbers. I think I'm probably missing some plate still. Wolf Cloud Chaser. I've never heard that before. That's very funny. Anthus Mog. He's upgraded parts of it with some Blood Elf Heritage armor, but he's still got his core. He's still got his core pieces. I'm pretty pleased with him. Let's see. All the things. Legion, Nighthold. He's missing quite a few things. Not a crazy amount of things. His item level is still 363. It's so bad. Let me see if I can buy him anything. Well, he's only got 1400 gold. You know what I should maybe do actually? Let's get him a little bit. Let's see if we can get him a tiny bit of item level. That might be kind of fun. He's wearing a bunch of garbage. We can. I took his Primalist gear to the. I took it to the thing. I can give him a trinket. I have a Primalist trinket I can mail him that's on my bank vault right now. So we'll start with that. I'm thinking maybe a Frank Assault will get him a couple pieces of stuff, and then maybe he'll actually be able to survive, because I actually am going to stay as prot doing this. Although, what if he ends up taunting everything? Let's send him a trinket, because our boy is presently level 363, so I bet we can get him up past that. He has a core, all right. Bankalt has a trinket for him. Ren TTV, thank you very, very much for the 27-month resub. Want that Mog as a Halloween costume. Okay. I'm pretty sure he would have gotten the rest of his stuff delivered that I could have sent him. But that trinket, I ended up not needing it on a different character, so he can take that. I'll also send him the 900 gold this character has. Just in case that helps him buy any greens. Because I'm sure he still has some heirlooms on, which is not helping his numbers at all. I aspire to be as majestic as Anthus and Barnacles. It's all in the carriage. Which is a lesson I could stand to learn. My standard posture is terrible. Upright streamer. Hello. It is I, Hazel from Hazel Nutty Games. 900 gold and a Primalist trinket. This is gonna make a... Oh yeah, sand pocket. That takes him up 4 item levels all by itself. Stand to learn, clever. And definitely intentional. Armor, upgrades only, search. So how bad are your gloves? He's got 328 gloves. We can get 376 plate pants pretty cheap. Let's do that. Because I'm on a budget. He's got 376 gloves. Again, cheap. We can do that. I don't think I'm gonna spring to buy 343s or anything. 376 we can do. And then I think that's about as good as you're getting for like really cheap gets. That'll help though. 367, 370, 373, 376. Oh, we're gonna have to fix this transmog. It's all over the place. It's a mess. This shirt. This is secondhand. It's a bit older. I got it online from a Canadian vintage reseller who I believe originally thrifted it. I've seen a couple of them around. They definitely had a big print run originally, but I don't think you can just buy it in a store. Unless you mean his shirt, in which case he is wearing a tortoiseshell breastplate, which is some form of a BFA green, I think. 1 HC carry for each of your alts. Yeah, buying carries doesn't sound like very much fun for me, though. Doesn't sound like a me thing to do. Oh, transmog's free this week. That's nice. These ones. He needs the skirt. There we go. Okay. Let's take him now that we're 376. Let's get him on a dragon riding mount. Presumably, yeah, we've unlocked his skills. That's good. Let's go take him down. Frank is in the Yunnaran Plains right now. We'll see if we can get just the basics done there. We can no longer make fun of Anthus's heirloom shield. I know, right? Oh, I thought those were they're the same icon as plate heirloom legs. I thought they were heirloom legs. I think I need to sell those. Or send them back. I don't know if they were a gift or not. Usually my go-to route for setting up a new character with like a little bit of catch-up gear, I'll do the Frank Assault once, I'll do a Time Rift, and I'll do a Researchers Under Fire and pick up the I'll pick up the Rep Weekly and the Niffin Rep Weekly first. And usually between all of those things, you'll get yourself like a nice little handful of veteran gear with like 1 champion piece maybe, and then you'll also get some flight stones. And then you don't, it's faster. Like you could do lots of other things to get more and better gear, but it's the fastest and the most outdoors that I've found. One thing I do like to do here is keep an eye on Group Finder, because I definitely can't fight the boss on my own, so I usually try and keep an eye for anybody posting like a Kretchen Wrath group. Because I'll need to join one eventually. Reasonable trading post this month. Finally got the purple dragon. Froze the alabaster griffin. Having the griffin already helped me out a lot, but I definitely I'm still down a mountain. I still have the fell crystal scorpion frozen. Yeah. The appeal behind Frank and Researchers to me is not only do they not take crazy long, and they have pretty good rewards, but they're weekly, so I feel like I do it once, and then I'm like, cool, I did a thing for the week. Researchers in particular are very good too, because you can also get like a free pair of Drake's Crests from the coins that you get, which you might use to upgrade some of the gear that you get. I'm not trying to gear him up super high, I just kind of want to get him off the 360 floor. We're already up like 15 just from buying a couple things, so there's hope. The trouble with camping the Group Finder to try to find groups for the boss is people call it all kinds of things. People say Assault Boss, people say Fearek Assault Boss, people say Kretchen Wrath, people say Ketchup Wrath. I never quite know what phrase to filter it to, so I just have to like look at the whole thing. Thankfully it's not a huge list to scroll through. There's 402 gear in 1005. It's not like freebie for gold, but you can get it from doing Time Rifts. So Time Rifts are a decent thing to do on alts as well. You'll get, the gear can drop sometimes, and you can also get tokens that let you pick out a piece, which is nice if you have like a particularly painful slot that you are struggling to find upgrades in. Okay, so 1 key. We're gonna need 3 of them. Usually type Fire Rack. Lots of farms, lots of people doing like cloth farm groups and stuff. This is also not a terrible way to get flight stones either. Even just tagging the Forge Master will let you loot quite a few of them, so usually by the time I've done my little weekly thing, I have enough flight stones to get like a good handful of upgrades. Good, 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 good. Fairlock Rare Farm, Under Fire, Time Rift. Sometimes I see something and I think it's it, and it's not it. It's a different activity. Oh, I can hodge him. I didn't think he would be so easily stunned. That's funny. I do feel a little bit safer in tank spec. The one thing about doing this assault, like this event on a really undergeared character, is they are in danger. Things hurt, and there's ambient damage that can be kind of tough to avoid. My rogue definitely died a handful of times while I was out here. Second key. Frank always kills me. I think I've only been killed by him once. I think I went looking for him because I knew there was an achievement and I wanted to do that just for fun. And then I don't think he's gotten me since. Although I'm usually all the way over here. I'm not usually in the zone on the way to him. I haven't spent a lot of time in the outdoor zones really for much. Especially not now that I got my mount from the Dragon Scale Expedition packs. That's one extra farm that's done. It's a pushback thing that eats me. Will you be leaving us any assignments on your summer break? No homework. Vacation for everybody. Imagine if I had the power to give everybody vacation and not just myself. I think I tend to get clipped by swirls, is usually what happens to me. What if you could just heal other random people? Do I have a third key? No, I need one more key. This guy might have my last key. Heal random people and have it count for your allies healed. There's the last key. So that gave me some legs, veteran legs, 2 of 8, nice. 405 is a pretty hefty upgrade for a young lad like Anthus. How are we doing on wards? We have 3 blue ones, no yellow ones. You don't have to finish all of these quests. They give you some flight stones and some reps, so they're nice, but they're not mandatory. But it's nice if you can get a boss kill, because that's going to give you another piece of gear usually, I think, from turning in the head. Maybe, maybe not. What would you say your favorite classes are? Priest? Evoker, Preservation Evoker. Priest is a big one though, because Shadow's one of my favorite DPS specs, and then Holy is one of my favorite healing specs. I was a Priest main for a long time. I like Woodshop, that was always a good class. Woodshop scared me because they began Woodshop by doing... They had a woodworking and a metalworking class, and they began each of them with a safety speech. And apparently the way that you get teenagers to be careful around dangerous equipment in school is to give them graphic details about former students that are now missing various digits and or limbs and or horrific burns, etc., because they were goofing around. I appreciate the need for safety, but I remember just being vaguely afraid of everything. I was pretty relieved to get through those classes. How many different ways can you cut off or crush your fingers? Lots of very not nice things that can happen to fingies. So the main quest left. That one you get 50 flight stones if you can get 5 of each ward to loot the things. I found that the bar hasn't been really showing lately. The fill the bar to get the boss to come. I know sometimes it used to be like you'd be able to reload and get that to come through, but I haven't had any luck with that lately. Saws are a common reason to visit. Too afraid to heal. Ah, can't tell if you're a healer because I play Shaman Druid. Lately I'm a healer main. I spent quite a few expansions as a ranged DPS, but I've been really enjoying healing. Okay. That gave me some adventurer bracers. 395, we like. I immediately lose them. There they are. And with a socket too. That gets him up to 379. Everyone be careful slicing bagels, please. I remember you talking about that in stream, and ever since hearing you say that, I'm usually somewhat careful, but I have been extra specially careful, because I remembered you said that was one of the most common reasons that people come to the ER is because of bagel slicing trauma. Bagel guillotine. Sometimes when I'm trying to slice a bagel, and it's like a really stubborn one, I will put on my oven mitt and I will use that to help stabilize the bagel. Not underneath the knife or anything like that, but just in case I somehow manage to have it wildly slip, I have like a thick rubber mitt on. Oh. Avocado hand has a term as well. Oh dear. Avocado hand. I thought about asking what happens in an avocado mishap, and I've decided I don't want to know. I've decided that today is not the day for me to learn about that. Anthus is a brave boy that doesn't take a lot of damage and can heal himself, but he does not do a lot of damage either. I'm just imagining people now very cutely walking around with avocados for hands, and one hand will have the pit and the other hand doesn't, and then whenever they applaud, they're reuniting the avocado. Yeah, I've heard you can get like chainmail gloves basically for food prep. I don't think I'm ever gonna finish this. Oh. Am I doing any better? Maybe it was the absorb shield that I let him cast. Hey, we finally got another yellow word. We're getting somewhere. Tagging these guys is great for flight stones, but it doesn't actually help you much with looting the crucibles themselves. I'm gonna go get this one. I'm gonna work on this guy for a while. Any luck? I might not be able to find a boss up. Under fire is not this. There is fire and it's unrelated. Must be bunnies. I'm sure at least somebody has been to the ER because of their bunny. Or a bunny. Bet you they could bite pretty good if they had a mind to and a good reason for it. I like seeing bunnies when I'm outside, but I leave them alone. Actually, that's my rule for almost everything. I like seeing everything, and generally speaking, I leave all of it alone. I stick to my prescribed spot on the sidewalk and I just look. I don't know if I'm gonna finish this. I think sometimes you can get a piece of gear for looting the crucibles. I'm not 100% sure. It would be nice if I could get another blue ward to do that. Oh, and then this guy, he's immune. Certainly leave the moose alone. That's probably why you've lived so long. Not that you've lived an exceptionally... I've put my foot in my mouth. I meant that as a compliment and everything's gone horribly wrong. Love to see a moose and it would scare the bejesus out of me. I like seeing seeing videos of moose by people that are smartly farming them, or like, you know, conservatory, or not conservatory, nature sanctuary moose. I'm running low on everything. I'm running low on juice. Oh dear. You ever put your foot in your mouth and then you try and make it better and everything you say makes it worse? Obscure source of Mog. Remember Pandaria 3-man scenarios? Vaguely, yeah. There was something about beer. All the time. Doesn't happen to me as often as you'd think because I mostly don't spend that much time speaking to people specifically and directly. Oh man. Yes, Pandaria scenarios didn't have any rewards, but they were fun. I'm trying to remember what the point of them was. I remember not spending a whole lot of time doing them. Okay, we have the reward to do this. And that gave me a couple of flight stones and then a couple of blue rewards. And I can now probably... I don't even think I need to fight that boss if I don't want to. I could probably just scoot myself over and then use the blue ones and some of this guy. That should loot me something. Plus I can finish the quest and get another 50 flight stones. Okay, so you don't get loot specifically. It'll summon the Forge Master, who I no longer need to fight. I've fought him enough. No luck on the boss. I haven't seen anybody listing any of them, and we don't have like a bar here that I've been able to see. Mainly to tell stories, few achievements, plus a toy. Okay. Started the ATT T-Mog farming game last night, Hazel. I blame you. I'll shoulder that one. That's my fault. That's my bad. I hope you have fun. May your drops be lucky. I'm gonna turn this in. Take my flight stones, and then I'm gonna wrap this bad boy up. Oh, hey. So he has, after doing that, he has 161 flight stones. He would have more if he'd killed the boss, but I don't think we're getting lucky here. Someone's doing a Tazavesh group. Oh, okie dokie. Wish me luck. I am gonna wrap up for the day, and I am planning to take a full week off, which, if including days off, means that I'm gonna be gone for a bit. I will do my best to remember to post photos. Instagram is a good place to follow if you're interested in seeing, but I'll see if I can get one onto like the Discord and stuff too. Appreciate you guys. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day.